by Duncan.
Harmon on a blitz. Goff throws it to the right. Gilmore's there. Intercepted at the 4. Harmon forced the pick, and Gilmore comes up with it.
The Patriots pregame show is the world's largest virtual tailgate, featuring fans of the 6-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots.
Brady under center, gives to Michelle, runs it left, a dive to the end zone. Touchdown Patriots. Michelle for 6.
That's the offense I know. That's the offense we love.
Hardy, Paul Perillo, and Mike Dussault are here to do the grilling as your hosts. This week, the Patriots are on the road against the
Los Angeles Rams. James White cuts it under the right arm, cuts it upfield, driving forward, diving to the goal line. A touchdown and a title for the Patriots.
I can't believe it.
Hardy, Paul Perillo, and Mike Dussault are here to get you ready for the game.
It's football time, fellas. Let's get into it.
Now, live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots pregame show presented by Duncan.
I got my Duncan all ready to go. Hardy, Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, Matt, and of course the entire Patriots pregame social crew. We are live and we are here right up until about 20 minutes before kickoff. As the Patriots get ready to face the Rams, 8:20.
I'm going to put my mic on now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
8:20 kick, right? 8:20 p.m. Eastern
Sounds
time
right.
kick.
Yes,
You
is correct.
Somewhere around there.
Two things, Matt. Can we have that in Greenwich Mean Time, please? Because this is all over the world. This is I don't know if you knew this, Deuce.
Yeah.
This is on the World Wide Web, www.patriots.com.
Internet.
Patriots pregame social, fueled
Everywhere.
by Duncan. So I would like to give all Greenwich Mean Time times for the show and for the kickoff. All right? Thank you.
Shout out to everybody who's staying up late out there for us.
I don't know.
Around the world.
I don't know.
So
Here-
don't nobody go nowhere.
Yeah, hey.
Big game.
That'll
Big
be
game.
cool. I'm with you. It's a big game tonight.
It's 1:20 a.m.
It is a big game.
1:20 a.m.
It will
kickoff,
be.
Greenwich Mean Time.
at game time.
Oh,
Nice.
God bless him.
I love that kid. Here's something else that I think we need to be very wary of right from the start. Before we get to the keys to the game, we will not go behind enemy lines tonight.
Yes.
We're going to play it safe.
No.
We're going to stay just on our side of the line.
I don't
It's a
know.
short week,
Okay.
so you never know what could happen. All of a sudden, someone gets cooked by friendly fire or something. So
Yeah.
let's stay out of harm's way.
I choose not to make any military analogies here. I would rather keep it within the confines of the pregame social. The last time I remember us being unable to go behind enemy lines, correct me if I'm wrong, Week 17, Patriots-Dolphins, because nobody from Miami wanted to come on the show.
That's a bad sign.
Is that accurate, Matt?
Not sure if it was week 17, but it was against the Dolphins.
It was
must have
against
been
the
then.
Dolphins.
They
if it
definitely
wasn't
played
week 2.
They definitely played the Dolphins in Week 17.
I know.
And I'm surprised that our boy Alain Poupard did not come on with us.
Pardon me. Was that Alain Poupard?
Yeah.
So take it for what it's worth before we, just start acting like we're all the cock of the walk around here.
Yeah, we'll make it up.
All right, we will.
Did we get LePan in there one time as the faux expert at some point? I don't know.
We
It was
could've-
that same
we had
day.
some
Some kind of bit.
We could have done it tonight.
Matt LePan Rams.
Matthew Lapon, who is with.
the Raman.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could have come up with some French newspaper that focuses in on Los Angeles American football.
Very, very popular. Very popular.
All right, gentlemen.
To sample a warm French baguette.
It seems like we were
We're
just.
giddy already.
Yeah, it seems like we were
Punchy.
just here.
It does. It does. We never left. You're the hardest working man in showbiz. I was watching you all day on the TV today, trying to take a nap, just listening to your little show there. It was wonderful.
You guys were working though today, weren't you?
No.
Oh.
We're working now.
I was filling up the mental bucket,
Oh my God!
getting
All
ready
right.
to.
We're
parry.
working now.
So I'm the sucker. Okay. All right, good.
Are you working tomorrow on your
I am
your little show?
I am working.
As Dussault just called it.
Did I call it your little show?
That's fine. Yes,
Sorry.
I will be working again tomorrow morning.
The
10 a.m.
full cast?
full show. It's football.
No, but
se-
it's at Beetle and Zoe as well.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
good for
but
you
those
guys.
those guys don't put in the hours that I do. Beetle especially. Beetle does the pregame.
He does
and
the pregame and then he
that's
goes
it.
home, right?
Oh, and then he screws. He's done.
Yeah.
Zoe's got to do a little bit
He
of
probably
fifth.
does the pregame from home now, right?
I think he did last. I think he did on Sunday, but he's in studio tonight. Zoe does have to stick around and do a little
Yeah,
fifth
Zoe's got
quarter.
to do, and he's
here,
got to
right?
do the game too. Like that's
That's a lot.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
That's
Zoe's,
a lot.
hats off to Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe actually, this is the 16 times a year, 18, 19, depending on the year, he earns his money, his game.
So there were some minor transactions, I think, to maybe just bring all our listeners up to speed.
Yeah.
Patriots put a tight end on injury reserve today, Ryan Izzo. Sorry, Claire. And activated Devin Asiasi off IR. So that gives you the possibility of 3 tight ends tonight. Your 2 rookies, Asiasi and Keene, as well as
Jordan
Thomas.
Yeah.
I have to look at Deuce with some of those
guys
just to make sure I don't call someone by the wrong name.
Yeah.
I always want to call Jordan Thomas Logan Thomas, who had a great game, by the way, Monday night for the football team. So anyway, 3 tight ends active tonight. Well, available tonight. We'll see. And I look at Jim McBride from the Boston Globe. He's out in L.A. I think he's the only local writer out there. And
Scribe.
Yes. And he is giving us some updates from the field. And looks like Asiasi and Jonathan Jones are getting ready to take part in some workouts and whatnot. So Jonathan Jones is a guy who had a neck injury last week. A few days ago.
Yeah.
Against the Chargers, and I would say that he's questionable for tonight. And, in every sense of the word, not just like I think there was 13 or 14 guys in the injury report as questionable. I think he's a legit questionable.
Yeah, and good to see. I mean, I guess we'll see, but J.C. Jackson was also banged up in that last game, and seems like he's not doing that warm-up thing. Usually that's a sign of guys that maybe are game-time decisions, so hopefully they're all right. But, a tough way for it to end for Izzo. I mean, I think it's the 3rd year in a row. He's kind of dealt with injuries, and he was kind of the guy that went wire to wire for a while, and now I guess we're probably going to see Jordan Thomas. I think the veteran. I don't know if Asiasi's ready. He's probably played in over a month, and even then he was in a bit role. So I don't know. They'll have to figure something out at that position today.
All the more reason to start really working to kill Harry into that tight end position. I'm not even joking.
Yeah,
go block.
They won't move on from him.
Yeah, and for tonight, I bring the tight end situation up because you figure that they, this is a pretty physical team they're playing. Good against the run, good tough front. You would think you would want as many of those options as you can. So you might be right, Mike. Maybe you see a little bit more of
Jordan Thomas.
That's
correct. Accurate.
Than we've seen so far.
Yeah. I mean, just an experienced kind of blocker, but they haven't gotten anything in the passing game all season. Why start tonight?
All right, so we're going to get more into that and more on this game and what this game means to the season, what it means to the Pats, what it means to the Rams, who are still having a good year, regardless of what you think of the team. They're at 8-4 right now, but I'm curious to know more about your thoughts on the team as we go on in this Patriots pregame social. We're starting to get the calls on the line already. Spee, I see you sitting there. We're going to get to you sooner than later, but first, keys to the game.
You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Here are Hardy, Paul, and Mike's keys to the game.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to. Okay, so I incorrectly identified this as 80s workout montage music for a movie.
That's pretty good, though.
No, this is driving game, select your character music.
That's good, too.
Like a,
I like
do you
yours
want
better.
the pickup truck, the Ferrari?
80s workout music.
I kind of like that, though, too.
I like that better.
like a movie montage workout scene. Getting ready for the martial
Jamie Lee
arts
Curtis,
tournament.
John Travolta. Choose your soldier.
I'm with you.
Oh, with the hips, the thing?
Yes.
Yeah. The hips thing? Yeah, I know.
The hips thing.
I got you.
What was the name of that movie?
Perfect.
I never saw it, but
No?
I've seen that scene many times.
that right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Correct. You are correct, sir.
Have you seen the movie or just that scene?
No, just that part.
Just
I
that scene.
haven't.
What's it about?
About Jamie Lee Curtis and
plot.
hip thrusts. She's got a hip.
Yes.
Who's the 10? Is she the 10 or is he the 10? That's what I could never figure out,
Dudley Moore and Bo Derek.
No.
That's a whole different.
John Travolta.
It's a whole different movie.
Or Jamie Lee Curtis. Who's the 10?
So Hardy, you got to
What
make
is he
your
talking
I'm
about?
just ignoring him.
Sorry.
You got the chance to get on the board quickly this week in our selections of the keys, and
Oh, I sure did. We're gonna get, we're
later
gonna
we'll get into the DraftKings picks.
Why did I steal your key to the game? Also,
Never.
You have the key to the game. You have the right one.
All right, well, let's get into them right now. We'll start with Mike D-Train Dussault, who will give us his first key to the game. Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail. We can only hope.
Like last week, efficiency in the passing game, 45-0 while throwing for 69 yards.
You'd think they'd ask us
It
sooner.
was very efficient.
Thank you.
They only needed 69 yards, and they somehow put up 45 points. That is very efficient. If you throw for 500 and you only score 30, that's not efficient.
Yeah.
So
Efficient.
69.
all right, so hopefully the team has this on in the locker room right now out in Los Angeles. Deuce, what is your key to the game?
Yeah, so, this game, I actually feel okay about, defensively. I mean, I think that they'll be able to hang in there with them and give Jared Goff some problems. And, it's just the other side of the ball that really gives me the problems. And that's why my key is just generate points however possible. That's what they did last week. I think that's what it's going to take this week. I can't help but feeling like they're going to need to have their best game offensively to win this game, or at least pull something out that they haven't really had before. I find it hard to believe that they're going to win this game just kind of, running Damian Harris, a wildcat play, and it's just plodding. I don't think Cam gets the ball out quick enough. I think they have to find something new this week, but it's just every point is vital tonight. I think it's going to be a real close game. So whatever it takes, special teams, defensive scores like it did last week, I think that's what they need to get this win tonight.
Okay, I like it. I don't know. Well, and I do know. You can't rely on special teams to create, but you can't rely on the defense to put points on the board. You can, in the abstract, hopefully count on them to put you and give you good field positions.
That would help.
But to actually rely on special teams and defense put points on the board.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with these Patriots. I mean, that's what they are.
It's the problem with
that's
your key
what these are.
is what it is. The kid's a crap key. Paul, do better.
Wow. He's all
That was
cocky.
that was mean.
That was mean.
That was mean.
I bet the guys in the locker room right now disagree with you.
By the way, can I just apropos of nothing, has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. Can I just instruct everyone? I mean, this is an actual assignment. Read Deuce's game story, whatever, column, whatever you call it.
Oh.
Game observations.
After the game?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So good.
So
wow,
good.
thanks,
And
Hardy.
I
funny,
you knocked me down and then you picked me back
Deuce
up.
and I were talking about that tonight.
I was asking Paul. Well, Paul wrote him for many years.
Well, just before you got here because you were late.
I'm not comparing you to
Deuce and I were talking about that very missive,
Yeah.
the game observations.
I was almost late, which is another way of saying on time.
Correct.
Okay.
Coming in hot on two wheels.
So Paul's the gold standard when it comes to the game observations.
Oh, no.
And I try to read
Long time ago.
I try to read them, regularly, but I paid special attention this week. I mean, and the fact that Deuce is sitting here doing it as the game is going on, and as we're
skill.
talking in the post game. I mean, you're a good writer.
I really appreciate
But
that. Hardy. That's what I was talking to Paul about, was just trying not to make them and then they scored, and then the other team went, and then they, trying to
Then they
provide
returned a
insight.
punt.
It tells a story, and it's got a ton of information in it. And if you're, and especially, I think it's important if it's important at all to you to have a good understanding of the game the next day. You want to talk to your friends about it. You're going to be ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba, especially for a guy like me who has to turn around and go do 4 more hours tomorrow. I make it a point to read the game observations, and Deuce does a great job with it on Patriots.
I appreciate it. Now I'm really disappointed with my key. I think I should have done better.
I think so, too.
I appreciate it.
It's just it pales in comparison to the other work. It's really the only.
Yeah, and I my key is sort of the opposite offshoot of what Mike is talking about, because I do think the Rams are going to make it a little tough for the Patriots to put a lot of points on the board. So I think red zone defense is going to be huge tonight, because I think the Rams – I don't have as much faith in the Patriots defense as Mike does. I think the Rams are going to move the ball and have opportunities to score. But if you let them in the end zone, I don't think you can keep up. But if you make them kick a few field goals, then you can. You gotta try to get this game around 20, because I think if it gets closer to 30, I don't like the chances. Yeah. So I think the best way to do that, obviously turnovers and field position, things like that, special teams, those are game-changing plays. I assume, like you said, Hardy, I don't want to go into a game and say, well, I need to have a punt return from Gunner and a blocked field goal from Cody Davis, and that's my formula. I'm gonna rely on that. No, I'm going to assume that the Rams play a good game, which requires the Patriots to play a good game. And if that's the case, you got to be tough in the red zone. You got to keep the points down so you give yourself a chance.
They got some issues at field goal kicker too, so
yes,
that could be
that's another one.
Bit.
Watch a game Tuesday night. We watched Dallas play Baltimore, and Dallas has a good kicker. Ironically, the Rams' former kicker, Greg the Leg, misses 3 field goals. Yep. Zerline misses 3 field goals in that game, and really that's why the Ravens put them away, is because every time the Cowboys had a chance to sort of inch closer, they made a drive and ultimately came away with no points. You want to do that if you're the Rams tonight. You play with a lot of fire if you keep the Patriots in the game by not getting in the end zone and then not capitalizing on your scoring opportunities.
Well, the red zone defense obviously plays into the whole playing smart thing, and Deuce is key about generating points whenever possible. It's actually an excellent key, because what it speaks to is not allowing any opportunities to miss you. If you do get that field position, it's a
7.
I know what you're saying. It's not necessarily just, scoop and score.
Yeah.
And run it back.
Finish.
It's 75 yards for
you get
a
a
kickoff
chance,
return.
You got to put it away. You got to get the points.
Whenever you've got the chance, you got to score on those. You got to convert, even if it's 3.
And that's what they did last week. That's what I think helped them. Those first few possessions, getting touchdowns. I mean, they settled for a field goal on that first drive. It's a different game.
Right. Mine is essentially defense related, which is why I say, just keep applying pressure, okay? Yeah. Don't get away from it, even if you get burned a couple of times, which I don't think you will based on the Patriots secondary. If you keep applying pressure and you can somehow get to the quarterback, make them uncomfortable early, they might pop you a couple of times, but the whole bend, don't break thing, I don't feel as good about that mentality tonight as I do in other weeks. I think you need to try and break the Rams offense a couple of times early on and get them skittish. And once it works, don't get away from it, because they're quite capable of coming back, scoring a couple of times quickly. And if you start playing from behind, then I think it's over.
Yeah.
I don't think this Patriots offense is equipped to come from behind and steal a win on the road, especially on a short week. So I would say apply pressure early and keep that pressure on. All right, and then allow your offense to go out there and hopefully methodically, in any way possible, move the ball down the field and put some points on the board. But get that pressure, apply it early, and apply it throughout the game.
Yeah, I think it's huge, and I mean that's what they were able to do against Goff. And he gets that look about him. He's one of those quarterbacks when you can watch a few snaps and you're like, he's on today, or he's not feeling it today. He's not seeing it today. I think that's what stuck out to me. Kind of went back and watched a little of that Super Bowl game. It's just you get him off key at first, and he never was quite right. Now I'm sure that they're going to be motivated for this one. They're going to, and I'm sure they're going to have some counter punches to what the Patriots throw at them. But I think you're right. I mean, and that's always a key. If you can get after the quarterback, you can cause problems without having to blitz everybody and send the whole team just to get to the quarterback. It's a good method for success for sure.
Yeah, I think yours is the one, Hardy. I think that's the key to playing the Rams, is to make Jared Goff uncomfortable, because when he's able to throw the way that Sean McVay sets it up. Deuce did a good job of explaining how the Rams offense a lot, they like to get to the line and have McVay continue his communication with Goff, because that's the way that they like to set things up. Yeah. So a lot of things I think are predetermined for that Rams offense. We're going to run the ball, and off of that run we're going to have stretch play action, quick throws to the backside tight ends, a lot of short passes that are, you're looking for run after the catch. I want to say there were numbers last week. He threw the ball like 50 times last week, and over 40 of them traveled less than 10 yards. Yeah. Something silly. I think he was like 37 for 47 in the game, and a vast majority of those passes traveled less than 10 yards. If you get in his face and disrupt that timing, that takes a lot of that rhythm offense away. So I think, Hardy, your key is dead on. I think you have to make Goff uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get to our DraftKings players a little bit later on, but since we're not going behind enemy lines, we can get to the phones right away this week, which I am thrilled about. And we will start with Spee in Fresno, who's joining us here on the Patriots pregame social, fueled by Duncan. Spee, what's going on, buddy?
Gentlemen, how are you?
Hey, Spee.
Hey, guys. So my key to the game is you got to throw fewer interceptions than the other guy, because I think this is going to be an interception bonanza today. I think Pat's secondary, they pick up where they left off on Sunday. You got the same field, and I think Goff gets maybe happy feet and he goes Goffle on us. But on the other hand, you got the Rams. They got a good coach. I think they have a pretty good run defense, right? So they take away the run, and Cam throws, and you know what happened when Cam throws. So I think there's going to be like a total of 5 interceptions, not just turnovers, interceptions across both teams, and whoever has fewer wins the game. And unfortunately, I think it's going to be Cam throwing 3.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, the Rams, multiple takeaways in the last 6 games. At least 2. They've had 3 in 2 of their last 4. But, their offense has also turned the ball over plenty as well. Every game, they've had at least 1. They had 4 a couple games ago against the 49ers, 4 against the Dolphins. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's always a big key for the Patriots. And, I think they're able to force, like Hardy said, when they're getting pressure, that's when they're able to force those turnovers. But, there's no question this Patriots team, when they don't turn the ball over this year, it seems like that is like the first prerequisite to win a game. So it's going to be a huge part of the game for sure.
If Goff throws a couple of picks, the Patriots are going to have every opportunity to win this game. Yeah. No question.
Speed, thanks for the call, buddy. No, go ahead.
Okay, well, I was just in this Super Bowl rematch. Do you think that that the Rams have any degree of liability at head coach? Do you think he's going to poop himself at any point in the game? I'll take it off. Thanks, guys.
I don't think so either. I mean, let's face it. We like to think of it as a Super Bowl rematch. I'm sure that. Well, actually, I take that back. I don't think of this as a Super Bowl rematch because Tom Brady's not here. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah, there's too much different. Fred hates the term regardless, but this is not. I don't think you can make an argument to this.
Right.
There's so many players that are different.
Right. And is there added pressure on Sean McVay to right the wrong that took place in Atlanta?
Yep. Yeah. It's very confusing.
I mean, okay, so offensively, they weren't good in that game. How badly did Sean McVay embarrass himself in that Super Bowl?
I think the only thing that was embarrassing was that clip that they played in the aftermath of them meeting before the game when he sounded like sort of a love-struck child. Like, the way you change things up from week to week, I mean, that's just really great. And, what you do, it was a little over the top like Chris Farley. We joke about it. And awesome. That, to me, there was a hint of embarrassing.
Right.
Let me ask you this, okay? Because I think Bill and the Patriots definitely got the better of the coaching that night, okay? But explain to me what Sean McVay did wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, failure to adjust. Maybe he could never quite figure it out like that. But that's just any coach. It's not
true.
Like,
but like, it's kind of like last week. Okay, everybody 45-0. It was an embarrassment. Oh, Bill Belichick pantsed Anthony Lynn. What did Bill tell Anthony Lynn to put?
He pantsed himself.
Did Bill tell Anthony Lynn to put 10 guys out there a couple of times when we're returning punts?
Right.
So we could go, 70 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Is that out coaching the guy, or is the other guy a bad coach?
Yeah.
Because I thought the other guy was just a bad coach last week.
Last week, yes, he was a bad coach.
Yeah, it's a good question, and I really, I kind of did some film nerd stuff, and I went and looked, just because what did the Patriots do? And so I think what I'm curious about is if they do the same kind of plan, because it stands out. It's 4 defensive linemen. It's Patrick Chung / probably Adrian Phillips down one side, Kyle Van Noy, one of the outside linebackers on the other, and then Hightower off. So you had 6 guys basically on the line of scrimmage, almost every first and second down, with just a 3-4 man shell in back of it. Now on passing downs, they do the kind of walk around, they try to confuse them, not knowing who's going. But that was kind of the formation they were in pretty much the whole game that was very effective. And I think that'll jump right off the screen if that's what they're kind of doing to them again. So now are they going to be able to, counter that? Kind of, it's a problem in their run game, I think, with, the zone runs they like to do. So, look, I mean, I think he's a real good coach, but I also think there's questions about this offense. Like we said, is, how much can Goff do it on his own? How much can Goff, if he's in a hole or he's not having a good game, how much can he pull out of and right the ship? I think that's my question with him. He's got good games. He's got bad games. Can he have a game where he starts off bad and gets better? I don't know. And my answer to that is no. And I think Deuce just nailed it. Like the things that I think Belichick and the Patriots did, that McVay, like the example of why he was outcoached. I think that they came into that game looking for strict man-to-man and didn't get it. And to Deuce's point, that's fine. You didn't get it. Now what do you do? And I think tonight, if
whatever they're expecting to start doesn't happen tonight, I think Sean McVay will be better prepared and more ready to make an adjustment as opposed to continuing to bang his head into the wall.
Yeah.
And he also, I think, figures to get more chances because even though the Patriots did next to nothing that night offensively, I mean, they did a little more than the Rams, but both teams kind of got –
What was the final, by the way? 13-10?
13-3.
13.
Yeah.
And they put it away with a field goal in the last minute. It was really 10-3.
Yeah.
But the point being, I think the Patriots at times, especially in the first half, would get 2 or 3 first downs and then punt, whereas the Rams just kept going 3 and out.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and I think tonight they'll have a chance to, if we get off to a slow start offensively, they should be able to keep the Patriots under wraps and play a punt game and get more chances than they did that night in Atlanta.
Yeah, and that's and I think it's a great test for Sean McVay because we all know the Patriots, they have inexperience. They have weaknesses that can be attacked. Can he exploit that? Can he kind of counter what they've been doing? I'll be interested to see. I'm going to be interested.
Lots more to talk about with regard to Sean McVay, Jared Goff. While we're talking about that Super Bowl, just for a second, though, I only have one more question on it, and I want to get to it before we take more calls here. Since we did not have a chance to do a post-game show together on Patriots.com after the Super Bowl, it is one of the I'm curious as to why we always do a pregame social and a post-game show for every game except the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot. It's
Paul's got to go party. He's got to get to the party.
No, because we end up writing.
Yeah.
I end up writing more after that game than I do in any other. I don't write at all anymore after the game. Deuce does all the work. But from a logistics standpoint, it's a little bit difficult to do it. Where, how do you do the shows?
Right.
And our thought, really, and if you disagree, because Fred and I have talked about this a lot with Andy before Deuce got here, what are you doing on Super Bowl Sunday?
Drinking, eating.
All day.
Probably not, firing up the old podcast in the background.
I think so. Out of all the games, I don't think it's just for Patriots.com. I think for all the networks, I think Super Bowl post-game shows are largely ignored.
Oh, they're completely ignored.
Because it's over.
But I'm even saying pregame show. You spend the day drinking and eating. Then you watch the game, and as you said, then the game's over, and it's over.
It's over.
What are you doing?
It's over. All right.
So you know what?
That's the answer.
So those are the two things.
That's the answer.
Logistically, you're in someone else's stadium. We never do it on the road, right? We always do it from home.
Yeah.
So you're in someone else's stadium. How do you do it exactly? And who are you doing it for?
Right.
Yeah, we'll figure it out next month. Don't worry.
Oh, nice. But before we get to the other calls, about that Super Bowl.
I forgot most of it.
No, you didn't.
I was watching the other. I'm like, I don't remember any of it.
And we didn't get a chance to
the
talk
interception,
about,
the early interception, Brady. I forgot that.
How
was
was?
deflection?
Oh yeah, first drive.
We had a lot of arguments about this
throw.
the next day. How was that game? Was that a good game?
Oh, it was terrible. It was a terrible game.
See, and
I'm not a guy
nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to invest, either mentally or physically the entire season, or actually going to Atlanta and spending the thousands on a ticket and spending a week there and all that stuff. I had the benefit of leaving early. I left on Saturday night for some personal stuff more than anything.
Sorry.
So I did not stay for the game. But
you signing a contract or something?
Monday morning when we're talking about it, Zoe and I think it was Beetle probably too was like, "That was a great game." I said, "No, it wasn't. I watched it objectively from my home on my couch. That was not an entertaining football game to watch."
Let me just say this, okay? And this is how I try to determine that. If the team, let's just say for argument's sake, the throw they make to Gronk down the seam, instead of getting completed to set up the only touchdown, got picked off and returned for a touchdown, and the Rams won the game 10-3. Do you think that was a wildly entertaining game?
No, I don't. I don't think people would.
I don't think Rams fans would sit here and tell you that was a wildly entertaining game. They would be much happier about the outcome, obviously.
Right, and Patriots fans would say that game sucked.
Right.
Right.
And it wouldn't. It wouldn't have just sucked because they lost. Like the Eagles game, they lost. Wildly entertaining game.
Wildly entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
there's no comparison between that game and the Rams game. Now, I'm not telling you as a Patriots fan you should like the Rams game less than the Eagles game that you lost. No. No matter what they say, there's still a banner out there that says that they won the Super Bowl, and it's their 6th one.
Yeah, it's a huge accomplishment, but
it wasn't a great game
in a vacuum. Watching that game,
I know, and that was funny because I went back and looked at it, and like I said, I'm like, I don't remember half this stuff. And people had always asked me, "Did you think it was a good game?" I'm like, yeah, I love defense. It was great, And then in retrospect, I'm like, it really wasn't a good game. It was just that I was so invested in it, and I was so tense the whole time because I knew one play was going to make the game.
And
like,
you know what my other thing was too in that game, and like you brought up the pick by Brady early in the game. I
totally forgot about that.
I've seen some low-scoring games where you just watch the defense and like they're just playing out of their minds. I think this game was more about poor offense than great defense.
It was a lot of bad execution, and I'm sorry, I didn't sign up to watch a lot of punts.
Yeah. No, I mean I understand that. Like I would, I think most people, we're not football coaches. We're not purists, so we'd probably rather watch a 31-28 game than like a 13-10 game.
But even
right?
like the
but I could watch a 13-10 game if I thought like the 85 Bears were playing defense and forcing all these punts, as opposed to Brandon Cooks is uncovered in the end zone for 20 minutes and Jared Goff doesn't see him. Yeah. By the time the ball gets there, Jason McCourty comes over and knocks it away.
Or the Gilmore interception.
The Gilmore interception, he's like 8 yards behind him and he throws it at the 5-yard line. Like,
just waiting for it.
It's just and the other way, Chris Hogan is open and Brady throws it 8 yards behind him. Yeah. There was nothing that the Rams did to cause that interception. Yeah. It was a bad throw by Brady. Yeah. That's.
As a fan, it's hard, and that's where I was when I was, watching it. But just in retrospect, I'm like, what a forgettable game.
See, I think of both of you guys as being, not like hardo purists, but guys who understand nuance of the game, and Deuce, especially with your love of all things defense.
And that's what I told myself.
Line play.
That's what I tried to tell myself. I tried to tell myself that I liked the game. And when I went back and watched it, I'm like.
And by the way, I do think both defenses played very well that night. So I'm not trying to say that they played like crap. Both defenses played well, but I think it was a lot of poor execution offensively as well.
Yeah, and I think that was, what was interesting was just that they slowed the Rams down, and it was more like a schematic thing than it was like, wow, players are just dominating. It's like, the Patriots understand
and they
they're
had
doing
like
it,
the
but
timely
it's not.
pressure, like Van Noy and Hightower.
Yeah,
Van
Noy
had
really, some big
really
plays.
good individual pressures on Goff to cause some of those problems. So yeah, I'm not saying that the Patriots defense and the Rams defense didn't play well that night. They did. It's just I didn't find it an overly exciting game. Now it was exciting because the Super Bowl is hanging in the balance the whole game.
Yeah, that was.
I mean,
it's
tense. 3-0, 3-3, and then it's middle of the fourth quarter. It's still 3-3. So there was an excitement inherent to the fact that the Super Bowl's on the line and it's a tie game.
Every possession, every down, turn that on.
Every punt.
Just week 13 in the regular season, you turn that game off.
Yeah.
You wouldn't watch that game.
If that was a game not involving your team, you were not.
Oh yeah,
you were not emotionally invested.
As a non-fan of either of those teams, that was a Super Bowl that you would just be.
Like last year, you were watching the Chiefs and the Niners, right?
Oh yeah.
And the Chiefs are down 10 in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden just explode. Like, I don't care who you're rooting for. There was interest in that.
Yeah.
There was excitement. There was an individual play made by Mahomes. That's not just something. No one covered him. He was what? No, there's like two guys in the last 20 years that could make that throw.
No, I disagree with you, and that's why I would not take Patrick Mahomes in his football team.
Unbelievable.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that tonight.
Unbelievable.
Well, we might, depends on how things.
We'll save it for post game.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll see how things go here. Let's get back to these phone calls.
Excellent.
Michael in Arkansas on the Patriots pregame social, fueled by Duncan. What's up, Michael?
Nothing much. How about you guys?
Really good.
Doing a pregame show.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I know that.
We're in Foxborough at 6:30. We're going to be here until 1:30 in the morning. How are you doing?
Good.
Okay.
Ready for the game. Got my rings on. Got my jersey on.
How many rings?
Get your rings on.
6?
All 6.
All 6? Nice.
Uh-huh.
Cool story, Hansel.
Michael, who do you think's going to win tonight?
Let me guess.
Obviously New England, because we're the greatest dynasty.
Because the Patriots are the balls.
And I still think we're going to win. But we have to force turnovers, force fumbles, and play good on offense to win.
I agree.
All right. Michael, thanks for the call. I appreciate it, buddy.
I agree.
So I think we dropped the ball.
Oh,
I think we dropped the ball.
Why?
Because I don't think any of us said that they had to force turnovers, force fumbles, and play well on offense to win.
I think that's basically what we said.
What about third down?
Nah, it doesn't matter. All right, that doesn't matter.
Nick Baby Love, where you been all my life, Nick? Good to hear from you, buddy. What's going on?
Well, I gave my private information to Matt, and happy holidays to Matt, to you, Hardy, to my man from Holy Cross. You know, I love my hometown, Worcester, D-Train, and, of course, my, paisan there, Paul Perillo. I've just been taking care of my health. It's been a tough run, but putting that aside, I still get to listen to the show. It's excellent. At least I got freedom of speech on this show. You know what I mean?
We'll see.
I do, because Twitter's blocked me, checked me 10 times.
Oh.
You know I'm a conservative.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be that on social media.
But so putting all that aside, it's really important to me. You guys know how much I love you. You're a breath of fresh air. I enjoy it every week, whether I'm in the hospital or whatever. And, honestly, this has been like a lot of fun watching the Patriots because they're in transition. I know they're going to turn it around, and, it's all good. Who really cares about anything? They're 6-6, and they're just going to move forward and make all the moves, And what I like about each win is the thing that's driving me now, because not only do I love Brady, and he's in my backyard here, but I love Belichick. I want him to get ahead of Shula like there's nobody's business. I love you guys. Listen, have a great holiday season, and we'll talk soon.
Appreciate it.
Be well.
You.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Good to hear from you, buddy, and be well. We're gonna let's grab Devin real quick before we talk DraftKings. Can we do that, Mr. Morrell? All right, very good. By the way, anybody else see the large tubs of pink liquid in the hallway walking in here tonight? So is that a Die Hard 3 type of liquid in those things? That looks like the stuff in the vending machine at the elementary school, does it not?
So I thought it was like soap, maybe. I mean, they're giant. They're huge tubs. I don't know what they are.
I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Sitting next to those. If anything looked flammable and dangerous, it's that.
Yeah.
It looks horrific.
I was hoping it was like a COVID vaccine or something out there. I don't know.
I mean, Matt, you would know.
Don't smoke near it.
Right? I mean, as a veteran, thank you for our service. You're supposed to be able to inherently be able to spot danger like that. Is that dangerous?
I laughed at it because I laugh at danger in its in its face.
It's got a Batman shirt on too, so he needs it.
Well, it's not going to bother him then. All right, we'll go to Devin in Denver here. Devin, thanks for being on the Patriots pregame social. What's up?
Nothing much, guys. Just getting ready for this game. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you calling in. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think the keys of the game are pretty simple. It's can the Patriots defense get to Jared Goff while playing tight coverage against the receivers, and then for the Patriots offensive line, making sure Cam has time to throw while also creating great running lanes for the running backs. And that's honestly, I think, going to be the key to the success for the Patriots.
Excellent. Devin, take care. Thanks for the call. It's the running game once again. Running game on both sides. I know, Paul, you talked about it extensively in your preview to the game, which, by the way, I would also say, if you are like me and you miss Jim McBride's preview of the game, which I thought was excellent, he did a very nice job with. I don't see.
Oh, he doesn't do it anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No. Paul Perillo.
Yeah, go to that one.
Well, you should have been reading,
right.
Both,
of course.
For some time. But
you just mean like the little matchups?
The matchups when the Patriots
Quick breakdown,
when
easy.
the Patriots won. When
I think I have to start taking those more seriously because they're getting a little bit more read than I was aware of. People have been talking about those the last few weeks.
But why don't you encapsulate what you wrote, Paul, about both when the Patriots run and when the Rams run? Who has the edge in both?
Yeah, the Patriots are going to need to win that matchup when they run the ball, and it's a coin flip to me because I think that we've had some instances the last few weeks where teams have really stacked the box. And they've been doing it all year, but I think they've really focused on it a lot. And this is a good run defense. And if they stack the box and force you in, Hardy, you mentioned it, you're going to just run in between the tackles at Aaron Donald all night and those guys. Probably doesn't sound like a great way to make a living. I'm a little concerned about that aspect. And I think if you don't get some yardage on first down and keep ahead of the chains, I think that's where it affects the other matchup when the Patriots throw the ball. Now, we know the Patriots haven't been overly effective throwing, but when they have been, it's a 1st and 10 play action, quick throw out in the flat. Let's see if we can get 7 yards. And here we go. Now we can run twice, get the first down, and, start it all over again.
Yeah.
But if you run on first down and you get nothing, and now it's 2nd or 3rd and long, here comes the pass rush. Here comes the tight coverage on those corners.
As much as
a weak group of receivers.
As much as I hate 3rd and 8, I hate 2nd and 8 almost as much. It's like you ran the ball on first down, you got a yard or 2. It leaves me with that sick feeling in my stomach because now I think, well, you're not getting it on 2nd down either, and now that's going to force you into a tough 3rd down situation.
Yeah, and I don't have the metrics to show it, but this is something Mike and I have been talking about for the last month. And I think one of the things that's changed about the running game is exactly what you talked about, Hardy. Okay, so Damian Harris gets stacked up for a yard on first down. Now it's 2nd and 9. Oh. Well, against Baltimore, 2nd and 9, they'd run again. And all of a sudden, they get a first down.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks, running twice is setting up 3rd and 8. Too often. Just too often. So I think that's one way that teams have adjusted to them a little bit. I think they're not just saying, okay, we got to stop the run on first down. They're saying we have to stop the run every down and make them beat us the other way.
Yeah.
And then the other way with the Rams, I think they have 3 guys they like to use in the running game. They have 3 different guys that have been productive. I think they have 12 rushing touchdowns on the year, which is, for those 3 guys. It's Cam Akers, Malcolm Brown, and Darrell Henderson. And Henderson and Brown have 5 touchdowns each. So they do run the ball. You don't think of the Rams as a running team, but that is the way they like to play. They want to run and throw when they want to as opposed to when they have to.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for the Patriots offense tonight, and that's why, I talked this week about, I just don't want to lose this game. I just want to win, beat the Rams. I don't, because when the Patriots going to lose one more, that's when it's over pretty much. The playoffs are over. I don't want it to end Thursday night in Los Angeles to the Rams. I'd rather give me 10 more days, go against the Dolphins and the Bills. Let it be an AFC team that, you go head-to-head with. Great build up to that. I don't want it to end tonight, but I think the Patriots offense, they have to prove themselves tonight because this is the best defense they played. They're not going to get, there's not going to be weather. Rams are pretty healthy. I think they have to find something new. They have to prove themselves worthy of being playoff contenders down here as we go into the last 3 games of the season. And I think they need to find something new tonight. I can easily see the Rams really shutting it down tonight, making it real tough sledding for the Patriots offense, and they're going to need to find something new, some way to move the ball, and I think their season kind of hinges upon it right now.
All right. Let's get to the DraftKings. We still have time, it looks like, Matt. We're still good for that?
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, let me get in and out.
Yeah, just in case, and I'll give you all the info about DraftKings here in a moment, but we all pick a player. Paul, who did you pick this week? You have to look at the paper. You don't remember. You haven't been.
I wanted to remember just how expensive it was, because I do recall that I had to dig into deep into those pockets this week.
Yep.
$8,800. So it's not necessarily a value play. Now, Matt, as the resident fantasy expert, does that have something to do with the Thursday night window only game going? Maybe
yes, we're in DraftKings Showdown Captain mode or Showdown mode.
So I go with Damian Harris tonight just because I don't think I've had a chance to go with Damian Harris yet since he's been the lead back. I think you guys have used him on most of the weeks, and I haven't had a chance. I think this is the Patriots' chance to win the game tonight, is to have a big game from him, keep the ball on the ground, keep Cam Newton from turning the ball over, which they've done a good job of in the last 5. This 4 out of 5 streak that they're on, they've done a really good job of cutting back on the turnovers. That needs to continue tonight. Good way to do that. Damian Harris hasn't had any fumbles. Let's keep that going. $8,800, not a great value. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat that one. And you're going against a tough Rams run defense, but he's going to get 15 carries or so if the thing goes right. So let's
go.
Let's go, kid. It's all on your shoulders, kid.
You're going to need him.
All right, so Paul may have to step out.
Yeah, I'm going to step out.
Okay, very good. So before we get to ours here, Deuce, DraftKings, in case you didn't know, it's the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. And tonight, during this game, new customers can play free for a share of over, are you ready for this?
How much?
$250,000 with their first deposit.
I could use that.
Tonight.
I could use that.
Tonight.
I could use it tonight.
Got 6 of them in.
You have 6 lineups in?
Yes, sir.
$250,000. Would you quit your job?
Absolutely not. What would I live on?
$250,000. I would quit all my jobs, leave my family, and move to Mexico. That's all. I would do it. I would do it for
a lot of pesos.
I would do it for $1,100. I don't even need $250,000.
It's like Andy Dufresne over here going down to Mexico.
All you have to do is download the app and play free on DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports. Paul Perillo is back. Quickest appearance on the radio network.
They told me to go.
You go now.
They just said go. No, we're running a little behind.
Not ready for it. All right, good. By the way, how are we doing? Are you keeping track of like how our guys do just, individually against each other here? Like last week, how did we do?
Last week, Mike had the Patriots defense, and they went off.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, Mike had the defense last week. A couple of weeks ago, I had Demir Bird, and he went off.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. How am I doing? With regard to
probably as well as you're doing in the
I'd have to go back
in
and
the
look,
other games that we do.
If it's anything like the over/under is not good,
or the 6-pack.
Nothing that sticks out. Nothing sticks out in the memory.
I took a beating in the 6-pack last week. That was not good. All right, moving on. Deuce, who did you take in your DraftKings player today?
Yeah, it was a tough choice. I had to go after you. So I'm taking Nick Folk. I think he's been great. He's been consistent. He's your guy.
Good for you.
I know you love him. But I think it's going to be that kind of game. I think the Patriots offense is going to struggle to move the ball. Points are going to be at a premium. They get stuffed in the red zone. I think they're going to need a few field goals from good old Nick Folk, and he's been real reliable so far. So I think it's a good pick. I don't have a lot of confidence in Cam's game or Damian Harris's game tonight, but I think if anybody's going to score some points tonight, I think it's going to be Nick Folk.
All right. I like that one, too. I chose first this week, and I doubled down on your pick from last week.
That's a good one.
Which was the Patriots defense. First of all, price-wise, DraftKings players will know whether $4,200 is a good price or not for the Patriots defense. I picked them based solely on last week not being an anomaly. It wasn't just about playing a bad Chargers team with a bad coach and, also kind of hoping that your key comes to fruition, that they're able to score points in any way possible because, a lot of those scores will count toward your defense. So I would love for them to be able to do something. Am I expecting a shutout tonight? No. Am I expecting and certainly hoping that the Patriots defense has come into something here? They seem to be playing better as a unit lately. We talked with Chase Winovich after the game last week, talked to him again, and realized that, okay, maybe they have started to figure some things out. And look, they were depleted at the beginning of the year. Guys not playing due to COVID and having to deal with some injuries. But I think it is quite possible, and I would say even probable, that the Patriots defense shows up again tonight, and that's why I picked them for my DraftKings
Good
selection.
pick.
I agree.
Good pick.
Agree. I have confidence in that.
Nick Folk, everybody.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
So there you go. There's your DraftKings picks, and once again, get that app, play free tonight on DraftKings, and if you get in on that $250,000 with your first deposit and you end up winning, well,
A little something for us.
Yeah, a little something for the effort.
A little something.
If you use any of our picks, right?
Yeah, only.
Just something to
How
consider.
about a little something, for the effort? Yeah?
Right. Tony in Canada. Edmonton, I believe. Is that right, Tony?
Hey,
Is that
guys.
where you are?
I'm in Edmonton, yeah.
Nice.
Edmonton.
Very good.
Yeah.
What's happening, Tony?
Oh, I just wanted to throw out my idea for my thoughts for the game tonight and get your guys' take on it. But I follow the Pats, as you guys know, but I don't really follow like the other teams the same way. So, but I'm wondering, you guys, I'm sure remember that game that Pats had earlier this year against the 49ers.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Tough one.
And yeah, so I don't know. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of see the Rams offense as similar type to the 49ers. They like to run those bubble screens and running plays. And against the 49ers, there was a lot of talk that the Pats couldn't hold the edge. We were just getting slashed. They would make these 10, 15-yard plays off those short little passes and bubble screens.
Tony, I remember it, and thank you for bringing it up. It was maddening to watch how they were able to pick up yards and get throws out to the flat and just, yards where you would, okay, you know what, you're going to complete that. You're going to get your 3 yards. Good for you. 13. Yeah, 15 yards every single time. So what have you seen from the Pats defense that convinces you that wouldn't happen again, or at least won't happen tonight against the Rams?
I mean, I think that was one of those complimentary bad games, where the offense had 4 turnovers and the defense was just kind of on their heels and the 49ers were clicking on all cylinders. I mean, I think he's right, and I think, schematically the Patriots will take some steps. I think they've found some stuff. I think they've found some guys that have emerged in the last few weeks, especially some of the young guys that, I think the speed of the defense just kind of stands out a little bit more with Winovich and Duggar and Adrian Phillips. I think has been a great addition. So there's no question though that they're going to need to have some kind of plan for what the Rams do, and I'm curious as to how they're going to do it if they take kind of that model. As I said this week, both the Dolphins and the Giants this year have had some success against this team. I think there is a method to slowing this offense down. And I think that despite the youth and the inexperience and what we've seen from the Patriots defense this year, I do think that they're capable of a game tonight where we're like, wow, they're really holding them in check. Maybe not to 3 points like it was in the Super Bowl, but I think that they'll be able to, force punts, I think that's the other thing about the Rams too, is that they move the ball well, but I think they're like 17th in points, so it's not like it's every time going down the field. It's just the other side of the ball that is my biggest concern, is how are we going to move the ball against this defense? And we saw Tom Brady, Gronk, Edelman in the Super Bowl. I mean, they had trouble moving the ball against this defense. Now it's, new coordinator and new schemes and all that. But that's where I think the game's won or lost. I think the defense will do okay. It's just, can the offense do enough tonight against a real good defense, probably the best defense that they played, to get enough points to win, and that's what it's about. And then you can set it up to, all right, you got a chance at the playoffs with 3 divisional games. It's right, right in front of you, teams that know you well, and setting that up. So that's just what I'm really pulling for tonight. I don't want to see a terrible offensive game where they just look, they've been so inconsistent this year that they have a down game. They can't do it. That'll be a tough way to go out.
All right, Tony, thanks for the call. Good to hear from you as always. Let's step aside here, Deuce, and we'll get a little breather here. And
6 seconds?
When we return, no, it's longer than that. I'm Mr. Positive tonight. This pregame social is, of course, brought to you by Dunkin', and the only thing better than football is coffee. So you swing by Dunkin' on a Patriots game day like I did for your medium coffee for $1 like I did. Look at that right there.
Game day Thursday.
Yeah, you got to order ahead on the Dunkin' app, but you should be doing that anyway. It's so much easier. America runs on Dunkin'. Exclusions apply. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
On the Dunkin' app to get running on game day. Whether you're a Patriots fan or a Dunkin' fan.
Yes.
DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee when you order from the app on Patriots game day.
Why is this? Why is this it? Okay. Yeah, it should fit. It should fit.
The take it back for something smaller with the CarMax 7-day money-back guarantee way. Whatever your way, that's the way car buying should be.
My Caleb sofa and love seat. With Bob's discount, you get both pieces for just $7.99.
$7.99? Are you joking?
Do I look like I'm joking?
Yes. You look like you're joking.
I'm serious.
Cool.
Get Bob's discount!
Ready or not.
Gillette ProGlide and ProGlide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
This is the place to play for $1 million in week 1. DraftKings, land of the millionaire. Football is back. Time to let your competitive streak. Download the app and take your shot at $1 million. DraftKings.
How do we inspire people to lead their healthiest lives? How do we bring everyone together so that healthcare finally works for all of us? We know how. We are the how. Optum. How well gets done.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
I never saw Teen Wolf. I know. And I never saw the Goonies. There.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
There was another movie on the other day. I realized I'd never seen it. I was trying to remember for you guys, too. I'll think of it. 855-PATS-500. Email us. We're going to get to some of your emails here. webradio@patriots.com. Should we take more calls, or are people going to be disappointed? Here's what I liken it to.
They want the star, right?
It was during one of the telethons. It was after a hurricane or some horrific tragedy. But I saw a bunch of celebrities up there taking, your phone calls, donations. There's Robert De Niro. There's Charo. There's...
I was wondering if you're going to go like bad celebrity right off the top, and you went for it.
now for your free reading.
Yeah, exactly. It was Miss Cleo. It was...
Carrot Top.
Carrot Top.
Form from Cheers.
Yeah. Wes Scantlin from Puddle of Mud. I mean, just the A-listers, right?
Yeah.
And I called in, and I just got some dude.
Oh, you thought you were going to get like Brad Pitt.
I really did. I was the sucker. I'm like not realizing like hundreds of thousands of people are calling to do the right thing, not expecting that they're going to get a chance to talk with
Randy Watson from the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama.
Played Joe the Policeman. So I wonder if people calling in would somehow be disappointed if they didn't get to talk to Paul Perillo.
I know. That's true. They want to get yelled at by Paul. That's everybody's dream.
Let's find out. Scotty, if you're disappointed that Paul's not in the studio right now, I'll put you on hold. Are you okay with just Deuce and Hardy taking your call?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead then, Scotty. And I apologize that Paul's not here right now, but whatever. We'll tell him.
We'll tell him you said hi.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'm just curious with this game about the offense.
Yeah.
I like what I see with the running the football, the pace, but they gotta open it up a little bit. They gotta get. It's going to be tough for Myers to get anything with Ramsey out there, but I think the defense is going to come to play with Belichick and the guys. It's going to come down to the offense on this short week is can they get those one or two game-breaking plays that kind of separate or keep them in the game with a chance?
I mean, hasn't that been the case? Like we've watched now, and last week there were a couple of game-breaking plays, but I don't know that any of them came on offense. I mean, when's the last time you saw a game from the Patriots that had, forget about two or three, like that one game-breaking play from the offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's they've had some good runs and they've had red zone finish, which I think is great. I totally agree, Scotty.
I don't think that's what Scotty's talking about.
He's not, and that's why. Can I ask Scotty a question? Because this is what I'm thinking, and I'd love to know what his like who do we think could do it tonight? Like if Damian Harris can't quite get going, and Jacoby Myers is getting blanketed by Jalen Ramsey, could somebody step up? Like I was almost, you'd almost be like Izzo, Jordan Thomas, Izzo's out now. Like I don't know where to look, and I totally agree with what you're saying, Scotty. And in my head, I'm like, who could be the guy tonight? Because I agree, I think somebody new has to make some plays tonight.
Well, I think the defense, like I said, with the short week, Bill and the boys are going to have them ready. It's not going to be like San Francisco where they
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
But if they can keep it close, I think, and if remember when they played the Rams in the Super Bowl 2 years ago and they ran that trap play with Devlin and Ndamukong Suh?
Yeah, sure.
If they run those different kind of trap, quick hitting run plays, maybe later in the game you get about a 2nd and 2. I think with these 2nd and shorts and these 3rd and shorts, I think the offense, we got to start opening up and taking some more shots. I'm looking for Damiere Byrd to have a big catch tonight.
Yeah.
On a post like he did against Houston. I'm looking for if we get a good drive going, probably it'll take a minute. It'll take maybe a couple quarters. Maybe in the second half, if we get a good drive going, we get about a 2nd and 2. I think they're going to open one up for Damiere Byrd down the
down the seam, and Cam's going to cut one loose, and that's going to be the play that.
I hope so.
When I call back in the post game, I'm going to.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Calling your shot. All right,
Okay.
Scotty. Thank you.
Well, you know what else we got during the post game? So Taylor Swift's new album's going to drop in the middle of it, so maybe we should do a little listening to that, huh?
Does it come out like after midnight or something?
I think at midnight she's dropping another surprise album.
Oh.
T Swift.
T Swizzle.
Deftones remix coming out tomorrow also.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. It's the 20th anniversary
basically
of
the same
White
thing.
Pony. This is called Black Stallion.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah.
Paul, top 3 Deftones songs?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. I don't know
Oh
if we
my
could,
God! Who the hell?
Do they have enough
cares?
angst? Do they have enough angst for you?
Yeah, they do, as a matter of fact. And you know what? That is a hill I am willing to die on. And I'm not
You have a
gonna
lot of hills you're willing to die on.
I'm not
just
going to
so
get
you
in the
know.
conversation right now. I would like to see if the camera can get a shot of the call screener here. I would like to see how Matt LePan spelled Minneapolis. So if we can zoom in on that right there, that
Actually
is
me.
special.
It's not
Is that
Morel.
Morel?
It's like a small.
Holy crap, what's wrong with you?
Small-apolis.
I just got that.
It's a small Apple's. Where? Jack, where are you? Apple's? No, I'm in Minneapolis.
The mini.
Gotcha. Wow. All right, let's go to Jack in Minneapolis here on the Patriots pregame social, fueled by Duncan.
How are things in Megaapolis?
Yeah, hello, can you guys hear me?
Oh yes,
We can.
Hey,
Go
Jack.
ahead.
It actually is a mini.
It's a mini Jack in Minneapolis. Jack, what's happening?
Yeah. What's up, guys? I had a question. Do you guys think that the Patriots' offensive and defensive scheme will work against the Rams tonight?
It's a good question. Yes.
The scheme that they used against the Chargers last week?
Okay, but even a much better question, Jack. So,
It's like a young Belichick on the phone here.
Yeah.
He knows
And
exactly what he's
not
talking about.
being sarcastic at all.
Yeah.
I love it.
Good, solid thought tonight.
Yeah,
The schemes that they used against the Chargers, are they applicable against the Rams? There are similarities.
What's the answer?
I think it's different. I think they're going to be different. I think.
no idea.
Do I?
No, I mean, I think it will be different just based on the mobility factor that you had last week with Herbert, and I think this is a little bit more of an offense that's about pace and tight splits. Everybody's kind of inside, and you kind of go from there, and everything kind of looks the same in their offense. That's what they want to do. They want you to think it's a run, and then all of a sudden they're throwing a bomb that looks the same. So I think it'll be a little bit different, defensively for the Patriots, but offensively, I think the Patriots are what they are, and I think it'll be the same. Try to find things that can move the ball any way possible.
I'm more focused on the defense because I think the offensive scheme is probably the same one you saw in the first 12 games. I would think. Now, whether it's going to work against the Rams, I think it'll be much, much more difficult, especially to run the ball. But in terms of the defense, I think you vary your looks again and try to confuse Goff. I think Goff has some mobility. I mean, he's not a big runner. He probably doesn't even have 100 yards rushing in the season, but he can get out of the pocket and use his legs to pick up first downs occasionally. He's not a runner per se. But he's also not Phillip Rivers back there, where he's just a statue.
Right.
That to me is tougher to call. What specifically they did last week, disguising some rushers. I mean, you saw a rookie last week. I don't know if Jared Goff, can you rely on confusing him the way you did at times last week? Can you rely on that again?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. Maybe you can, because as Deuce said. Just a couple of weeks ago, Goff had a mess of turnovers against San Francisco. He had a mess of turnovers in that kind of situation against Miami, 3 and 4 turnovers that he himself was responsible, because he's also susceptible to fumbling the ball too. So that's Hardy, your key is the key.
Really?
Get at Goff and confuse him.
Deuce, 3 years I've been doing this.
Your key is the key.
3 years I've been doing this.
A lot of praise.
Never.
When you know, you know.
Has it been like that?
You nailed it.
Yeah, I nailed it.
How do you get those so fast?
What?
How do you get those gifts up so fast?
I just search. Bad blood.
You just.
Sorry, someone insulted me for saying that I had a Taylor Swift drop, and I will not stand for that. And now me and Chad Moore got bad blood.
Yeah, and don't pretend you don't like Taylor Swift.
Who, me?
No, the guy who's making fun of Deuce.
Everybody likes Taylor Swift.
Everybody likes Taylor Swift.
Just I like the big D.
I tell you what, I liked it a lot more when Ryan Adams did a cover of her album 1989
Oh, yeah, she did the
from
whole
start
thing.
to finish.
Yeah.
A lot of angst.
Yeah.
It's dripping now with angst the way he does it.
He just
but
has
the
like,
angst.
He just
the angst.
Well, he says no artist could be truly.
I never said never or all.
What
What
was
I
it?
said was, and it was a
I'll let
conversation
him
with
speak for himself.
with
He's
a
a
guy
good
who used to sit here who was a big fan of like new country music, right? And it's like I'm like, oh yeah, the song's about I love like blue jeans and chicken and I
Trucks.
love my mom. It's like there's so what? It's not speaking to anything. He's like, what? It's happy. What's wrong with being happy? And I said, because most good art does not come from a place of happiness.
Sure,
I don't care if you're singing a
comes from
song,
angst.
Yeah.
making a movie,
I just like the word angst.
painting a picture.
Right.
There needs to be some angst involved. It happens with bands all
Like
the time.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
Fleetwood
what-
Mac.
Bob Ross.
You know,
What bugs the
Well, it's 'cause
crap
they're
out
all-
of me about a lot of these like new country artists
they were fighting the whole time.
is
Fighting?
they come out of
That's
the
one
gate.
word for it.
They come out
were
of the
loving,
gate
they were
singing
fighting.
about being happy. It's like, what do you have to be happy about?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a struggling musician. It's all BS. I don't believe any of it. It's
never happy.
It's inauthentic. It's inauthentic.
Yeah, I'm not into that style. But I think Taylor, she can write a song. And she writes some catchy music. I like it.
Yeah. Peter in Boston. Let's see what you have to say here as the Patriots get ready to play the Rams. They'll be kicking off here
Los
in
Angeles Rams.
about another hour and 15 minutes out in L.A. What do you got for us there, Peter? Peter.
Hardy just can't handle the call
Peter
screen. It's
Gibbons?
just so embarrassing.
Craig,
Every week the same problem.
Did they know about this problem at the Sports Hub? How did you get it?
They don't let him do the call screener at the Sports Hub. That's why.
That's how he's able to get an extension.
Number one, they do let me. I
choose not to run.
I choose not to screen. Look, I can't help it if you're not there. Craig is there in Weehawken, New Jersey. What's up, Craig?
Hey, Hardy, how's it going?
Thank God.
There was a
Thank
pause
God.
there.
Thank God you're there.
Pregnant pause, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hey, I'm actually calling in to apologize. A couple weeks back, I did call in during the pregame show. I walked out into the garage, dropped the call, and you took the heat for it.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
He's your
I
paisan.
apologize. I got to be accountable there.
I'm all right.
But hey, we got two great cornerbacks matching up tonight in Gilmore and Jalen Ramsey. Just wondering who's going to have the bigger impact and who are they covering? I'll take it off. Thanks, guys.
Well, Gilmore had better have the bigger impact.
Yeah.
Because he's covering an actual receiver. He's covering.
I screw it up even when I'm not doing anything.
Gilmore is trying to limit a passing game that's part of the offense. The Patriots' passing game, let's face it, is just, it's a means to an end. Like, it's just out there. It's,
Well, and that's why I think like it'll be interesting to watch because, like I said last time, they kind of played zone on early downs and they just kind of play a shell. And with all these tight splits and they have everybody in tight
splits.
The Dolphins did the same thing this year where they put everybody off, and they just kind of wait and let you get in, and then they divvy it up. So I don't think we're going to see Gilmore running down the line with Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods. Maybe on third downs they'll man them up, but I think it's going to be a little bit more about team defense, at least on the early downs. But,
I think you're right.
No question on third down. He'll probably have one of those guys, but those guys are great, and they're both really, really good receivers. It's fun to watch them.
Let's go to Saugus, Mass.
Why
You
did you
did
do
that
that?
on purpose. You're saying this doesn't happen ever during the week?
No, it happens to Fred all the time, and I blame it on Hardy.
Yeah. Oh,
he does.
I know you listen.
Accurate.
It's true. Eldred, what's going on?
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Doing good, Eldred. How are you down in North Carolina?
Sitting here waiting on this game, and Dussault.
Yo.
You said what guy can step up?
Yeah.
I'm hoping Moncrief.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Maybe, maybe him. I don't know if they're gonna play forward or not. Anybody, but to give Myers and Bird at least a chance. My main concern is our offensive line against their defensive line, their defensive line against our offensive line. That's my main two concerns. And Cam just throw like a quarterback for once. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I don't know that that's going to – and Eldred, I would love to see it too. I don't know that it's going to happen tonight or any other night, but at least, and Paul brought this up again on Felger Maz last week, when you talk about Cam throwing the ball and it's like, well, we know he can. We've seen him do it. Paul's right. And not to throw water on your hope for tonight, but it happened once, and it was late in the game against Seattle, where we really saw him throw the ball effectively, consistently for any stretch during a game. Beyond that, I don't know what leads you to believe Cam's going to be able to do that tonight. I hope he does too.
I know, and that's why it feels hoping against hope with a little bit.
For him, it really hasn't gotten better than those first 2 games.
Yeah, and even those
I think he's hurt. I'm hoping tonight it's just wear off a little bit. I think he's hurt because he threw better than that in Carolina, and he didn't throw like that.
So much for your Jordan Thomas theory.
No.
So here's the inactive list, Big E, and we'll let you go, Big E, and enjoy the game. Hopefully we'll talk to you in the post game. Terrence Brooks, Brian Hoyer, Isaiah Mack, J.J. Taylor, and Jordan Thomas.
You ain't playing, guy.
Wow.
Those are your inactives.
So T. Brooks, falling out a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's Duggar.
Duggar. I mean, Duggar's really kind of taking
Cody
over
Davis
as a starter.
is back. They use him as the special teamer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit interesting. And I had wondered about Isaiah Mack just because, like I said, they played multiple defensive linemen last time, and it was a big part of it. But I think the ability for John Simon to kind of play down at defensive end, that might make up for that. But, I mean, I guess it's going to be the Dalton Keene show.
But it's good news, though, because Jonathan Jones and J.C. Jackson are both active, at least healthy enough to be active.
That's good.
We'll see if they can have a full workload. And I know some people are probably going to get ready to start tweeting us. I know Eldred said he didn't know if Ford would be playing. We all are aware that Isaiah Ford was let go. He's now actually back in Miami on Miami's practice squad. But, obviously Eldred missed the transaction. It was a minor transaction. But I didn't want people to these idiots on the pregame show, they didn't even know he's not on the team anymore.
After they did the first interview with him, and he brought up 3 times how cold it was here, so I was 0% surprised that he went back to Miami.
He's not long for this joint.
Nope, I'm not doing this.
All right. Now he goes back to Miami, and he brings a little institutional knowledge back to the Dolphins.
Right. Tom Brady's like, I hear you, man. It sucks up there.
He's catching a lot of heat for that, huh? Tommy?
I think it's just the way he said it, it's like the way, I haven't even heard him say it, so it's easy to take it out of context, but you'll never catch me living, you can catch me dead up there anymore.
It's so funny because 10 years ago, Andy and I used to talk about that topic with Fred, and when he retires, you're going to see him back in Foxborough twice.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing here.
Maybe the day that he gets inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame, and then maybe
the helicopter will come in.
Maybe Mr. Kraft has some sort of ceremony, celebrating the dynasty, and Brady comes back for that. You're never going to see him back here.
Well, maybe if he has to kick another guy out of his house who's sleeping on a couch in the basement, he might have to fly up and sign a police report or something like that. By the way, apparently that's the same guy who tried to steal a jersey out of the pro shop.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about this week a little bit. I was not aware of that. That you're right though. It was the pro shop. I saw it reported as the hall. But it was.
Fred said
it was the hall.
Fred said.
Was it the hall?
So
no, Fred said it was the pro shop, which to me is totally different.
Right, that's just shoplifting. But if you're grabbing Brady's Super Bowl 51 off of a
Much
mannequin
different.
up in the hall.
It was Brian Moore. He was raising his hand. I know who that guy is.
You come back
here. You don't think Brian would be like that?
I don't know.
Brian would insert himself in that story so fast. Are you kidding me?
I don't know if he's the one who alerted the Brookline police as to the identity.
They're doing a documentary about how he tracked it down and.
So Brookline I thought it was Chestnut Hill.
Are we going to take any breaks?
Difference?
We did while you were out of the room.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
We got to do the over-unders anyway.
The overs and unders?
Yeah, let's do them.
Both of them.
It's time for this week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
No blood last week, huh? Everybody went 3-3?
That's right.
So that brings the season totals to what, Matt?
Of course,
Morrell?
Paul kept the score last week, so I don't know.
I keep the book. I'm also in first place in the picks.
Well, according to his gorilla math, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is in first place.
I keep the book, so I'm in first place. And if you want to do it, you want to be in first place, you keep the book.
Apparently.
So on the season, we have Mike 44-28, Paul 43-29, and Hardy 32-40. Not good, Bob.
And if I was cheating, I would definitely put myself in first place, not second place, by the way.
Yeah, because second place is obvious. It's like shoplifting. You still go up to the register and buy something while you're shoplifting something in your pocket.
Ah. That's not what I used to do when I took the Klondike bars out of Square Drug.
Hey,
what would you do for a Klondike bar? Apparently, shoplift.
That was my song.
Really
I would walk in singing, "What would you do for a Klondike bar?" And I would look at my friend and I would go, "Would you steal one?"
For a Klondike bar.
So like a quarter.
Sweet
Like
Klondike.
So juvenile.
They're good, though. They're good.
Tell you what else, you could get a chunky. That fits right in the pocket.
Chunky. So, somehow my mother's listening tonight. She's
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I raised a son who stole a Klondike bar."
All right, what do we got? What are we doing?
Sorry, Ma.
Cam Newton passing yards at 175.5.
I'm going to go under on this one.
I mean, well, what are we doing? And Matt, it's a good number. It's a fine number to sit here and debate, but
that's what the Vegas has, man. I don't have it.
I know, and it's like I'm laughing just because is anyone even considering taking the over in this?
I'm not considering it, but there's certainly a world where he does what he did in Seattle.
Of course,
but
350 2 weeks ago. Belichick may have mentioned it.
Yeah. Twice.
I threw that out there in Felgren match too. That came out way different than I wanted it to.
You threw it out there. I knew exactly what you were doing.
I know, and I was like, "What am I doing? I'm not on Patriots Unfiltered."
Well, it's because you were doing it with Humorless 1 and Humorless 2, and they'd have.
Thankfully, they had no idea what I was doing.
Yep. My God.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under as well. So we're all three on the under.
Under.
All three on the under.
Damian Harris rushing yards 48.5.
In solidarity with my good friend Paul Perillo, I will go over because he picked him as his DraftKings player.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over too, just because I think they're going to give him enough opportunities to get there. And I think if Deuce is right about the defense and they keep the game close, they can keep running.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under.
Jared Goff passing touchdowns at 1.5.
I could go first in this one. I'm going to take the over on this. I think that the Rams' offense is a little bit better than people think. And I think he's grown a little bit, and he'll have some success.
Okay. Based on nothing more than my over-under standings on the week, I was the same as Paul on the first two, so I have to go opposite him on this one.
Yeah.
I have no idea how many touchdowns Jared Goff is going to throw for tonight, but I know Paul went over, so I'm going under.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. I'm with Paul on this one.
I like it. Hardy's going to pick up one right there.
I don't think I understand your pick.
I don't either.
Based on your over-unders, I don't understand your pick.
No, I don't either. I think I have what I want to happen and what I think's going to happen, and I'm stuck I'm between two.
I've been there a million times.
Stuck between two.
I've been there a million times.
Yeah.
All right, next we have the longest reception by a Patriot player. Will it be over or under 20.5 yards?
That breakout play that we were talking about on offense with one of our callers, will it happen?
One play for 21 yards.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to
be positive. I'm going to be positive.
I'm going to say yes, too.
We're all going yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This one's for you, Hardy. Does Nick Folk make the good list?
No question, yes.
Oh, we can't have those.
No?
He can cheat.
Okay, listen. If he has,
does he make your good list, Paul? How about that?
If he has,
I could cheat.
If he has
like 7 field goals, nope.
If he has 3 field goal attempts tonight and misses 2 of them, then no, he can't go on the good list. I'll be objective about that, and I'll still say yes.
I trust you. But I think he's definitely gonna be on it.
Well, okay, so
all right, but can we get some parameters first? Okay, so you say he's going to be on the good list.
All right, so you want to put parameters for
Here's
what
my parameter, okay? It's easy to say, Hardy, and you're right. If he misses 2 field goals, he's not going on the good list.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
It's easy to say if he makes a 52-yarder at the buzzer to win the game, he's going on the good list.
What if he does both?
I want to know, is he going to be a Hardy good list participant when the Patriots, score 13 points, he kicks a 22-yard field goal and an extra point? Like,
it's average.
Okay,
yeah, he made his kicks. He made his kicks.
I'm going to set an admittedly
should he be on the good list is the question.
I'm going to set what is an admittedly low bar, but this is the bar, and you can agree to it or not.
Okay.
He has to have a minimum of 4 kicks tonight, any combination of extra points and field goals, and he has to And if he makes them all, he goes on the good list, regardless of yardages on the field goals.
Okay, that's the parameter?
Yes.
Then I'm saying he's on the good list.
Okay.
I concur.
Everybody good with that?
So I'm going to give us all Ys on this one, not over, under,
And he could
yes.
he could still end up on the good list if they never get in the end zone, but he kicks a 60-yard field goal.
Basically, you're telling me unless he poops himself, he's going to go on the good list. So I'm saying yes.
Okay, good.
Good, fine, great.
Didn't mean for that one to cause that.
No, it's good.
And as we always end with the total at 44.5.
I'm going to go under.
I'm going under on this one.
Yeah, me too.
Damn it. I'm going over.
You switch?
Would you like to change?
No, I'll go under. Go under. I'm happy to pick up my my win on both of you guys. Wow, I'm going 6-0 this week. That's awesome. All right, cool. Very happy.
It's been done.
I'm very happy. Yeah. Not by me. Not lately. Not lately.
Last week, actually, right?
No. Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Who's keeping the book?
Me. Well, you that week. I did it last week.
I always keep the book. I just didn't know that somebody was relying on us to keep the book.
Well, normally we don't, but LaPon did not keep track of them last week. So Matt asked me to figure that out.
I did not know about that.
So we all went 3-3. All right.
Matt, what are we doing? We're gonna keep rolling here. Take some calls.
Sir, take some calls.
Let's take some calls here. We'll go to.
Can't take one of those 90-second breaks.
No, we're a slave to the warm-ups at this point. So we'll go to. Is it Nav in Hartford? Nav. Yeah.
What's up?
Hey, Nav.
Two questions, actually. So this morning, Albert Breer from NFL Network, he mentioned that the Patriots are more likely than not to keep Cam Newton for next year. So I wanted to get your guys' opinions on that. And then also, one thing about the game tonight, we know the Rams are going to try and make us run the ball. And I have a hard time believing Bill Belichick is just going to let Damian Harris get 1 or 2 yards all night and feed into what the Rams want. So what do you think the best option outside of Jacoby Myers is for tonight?
That's a good question. As for Cam, I mean, I'm not really interested in bringing him back next year. I've enjoyed, riding the experience this year with him, but I just think he is what he is, and I'd rather move on and at least maybe tack towards someone who can give us a passing game. I don't need to continue to see this manufactured run offense. I like the guy. I like what he's brought, but I think that they need to move on, and I don't need to see another season of this.
Well said. I don't need to add anything to that.
No, I don't need to add anything to it either. I was very much in favor of re-signing him earlier in the season based on the small sample size of a handful of games. I don't know what it is that they're going to do. There are some things where, I feel compelled to, come up with another option. They got a whole building full of people to come up with another option here. And Cam Newton at quarterback, for this team for another year as the starting quarterback, as the guy. Yeah. Having him on the team is a different story. Having him as the guy, he is your presumptive starter week 1 for the 2021 season. No.
Yeah.
I don't see how that makes sense.
Jameer Byrd would be the guy that I would look at to try to maybe see if we can make some big plays. I think that it's probably unlikely that you're going to be able to – the Patriots always sort of try to force teams to, methodically move the ball downfield and see if they can string 10, 12 plays together. Yeah. Well, I don't think the Patriots can do that. But I think anybody could make one play.
Yeah.
I think anybody could run the ball twice to get a first down and maybe get a 50-yard chunk. I'm not saying 4 times, but Jameer Byrd to me is the guy.
Yeah, it'd be huge. I mean, then they've had those drives, where it's like 17 plays, and and they average like
yards.
6 yards a play, and it's. That's
they had one last week,
16
plays, 54 yards.
It's so hard to sustain that, and it's you got to pick up some chunk plays at some point.
Relying on penalties and stuff to help you keep the drives going.
Right.
It's just it's maddening.
It's a hard way to live.
Daniel in Eugene, Oregon. What's going on, Daniel?
Hey guys.
Hey.
So I had a question, well, actually more of a talking point. I think a lot of people are focusing on the wide receiver group for this matchup. I think the big match is going to be probably with a possibly big Kyle Duggar game where you're going to see potentially Tyler Higbee, the tight end of the Rams, or one of those tight ends being a big issue with that high efficiency offense they run.
Could be. Yeah, they have 2 good tight ends in Higbee and Everett, and on paper, this game scares the crap out of me. I mean, if this wasn't the Patriots, I still have the Patriots, the aura of the Patriots. I work here for 21 years.
Order ahead.
That's still, to me, what the Patriots are. On paper, this is the kind of offense that gives the Patriots fits. When there's not that one guy to focus on that you could say, well, they have DeAndre Hopkins. He's clearly the guy that they want to get it to. That's not what the Rams offense is about. It's Robert Woods. It's, jet sweeps to Robert Woods. Then it's Cooper Kupp. Then it's Josh Reynolds. Then it's Tyler. Then it's the run game. It's Cam A. Even the run game, it's different guys, different styles. I think the Patriots defense is pretty good. I don't think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. And if that front can continue to stop the run the way it's done a better job of lately. Now, I think they were at the start of the game last week, it looked like they were back to their old selves, stopping the run, and then the Chargers just went away from it.
Yeah.
I don't think the Rams will do that tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point. I think that's one of the biggest differences between this Rams offense and what was in the Super Bowl. I think they've got more depth now. They've got a second tight end that they can go to, and the Patriots are going to have to figure that out.
All right, we can see
they were without their running back that night. They were without their best receiver that night.
Yeah.
And Kupp.
I love the Kupp.
But they were also without Gurley, basically. I mean, he was a shell of himself, if you recall.
They had 2 backs, 1 Kupp. Gotcha.
Why does he have to work blue?
I don't know.
We have warm-ups going on
Speaking
right now.
Speaking of Dugga.
There we go.
I love
They
him.
keep putting him back. Let's touch on this for a second.
Sure.
I keep watching the warm-ups when they show us these live look-ins, right?
Yeah.
And they keep having Kyle Duggar back there during the special teams portion on kicks.
Yeah.
But then they don't ever let us see it during a game.
I
Could tonight be the night?
I mean, four starts for him. He started the last 4 games. I think they've moved him back to kind of a little bit more of a traditional strong safety role, and I just really enjoy watching him play. I feel like I'm writing about him too much. Every time he talks,
I'm telling you,
like,
go back and watch his highlight tape. And I know it was Division II Lenore Ryan, but watch him return punts.
Yeah, he's legit. He's a legit
I'll
player.
tell you something right now. You keep writing about him, and and this way, 5 years from now, you can go back and say, I was writing about him every single week.
It's like when
every time he talks, I'm like,
it's like when Brady was a rookie, and me and Shane Donaldson, who was our intern at the time, talked to Tom Brady every single day of training camp because he did our rookie diary.
How was he back then?
Oh, he was delightful, as you would say.
Yeah.
The cold bother back then.
He was very, very nice, very humble.
Did he buy a $2 million gas guzzling boat and name it after his wife's environmental initiative? No, wasn't doing that back in his rookie year. All right, we'll step aside here, come back, and continue with your phone calls. Melvin in Tennessee, you'll be up next. We got a lot of emails to get to. I have questions for you guys about this game tonight, too. So a lot to cover in our final 30 minutes and change here on the Patriots pregame social, which is fueled by Dunkin'.
Order ahead on the Dunkin' app to get running on game day. Whether you're a Patriots fan or a Dunkin' fan.
Yes.
DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee when you order from the app on Patriots game day.
Ready or not.
Gillette Pro Glide and Pro Glide Gel. 5 blades and a pivoting flex ball designed to get virtually every hair on the first stroke while washing away dirt and oil. So you're ready for the day with a clean shave and a clean face.
In New England, we are resilient. It takes hard work to earn respect. Sometimes it takes decades. And it always takes someone being on your side.
This is the place to play for $1 million in week 1. DraftKings, land of the millionaire. Football is back. Time to let your competitive streak. Download the app and take your shot at $1 million. DraftKings.
For over 60 years, this team has transformed itself into a championship organization. For over 160 years, our team has demonstrated a similar mentality. There are no days off. Our front lines are fortified by people who sacrifice individuality for the team. Our shelves are also stocked with the best quality products and ingredients. Our team members know their roles. We're proud to do our jobs. Shaw's, the official supermarket of the 6-time champion New England Patriots.
Johnny, euphonic.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
It's football time, fellas. Let's get into it.
That doesn't get you fired up.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
All right, don't forget, if you want more of the last-second interception or the plays that you keep replaying. At AWS, they bring the fans new data behind every epic pass, play, even fumble with an unmatched pace of innovation. Technology is changing the game, and AWS is how. Learn more at aws.com/sports. Melvin in Tennessee, our good friend. Melvin, what's happening, buddy?
What's up, y'all? What's going on?
How you doing?
Good. Paul, I have that pullover. You got to sniff after you.
Oh, that's
like
a Fred
that.
sniff. He's got your sweatshirt there, the throwback.
Oh, how'd you get that?
I think
Interesting.
my ex bought me that a long while back. My girl.
To bring that up, Paul.
One of them.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it doesn't matter as long as they got the pullover. Who cares?
What happened to you two? I thought you two kids were going to make it.
Never trust that with me.
Okay.
I'm a dog. He's got some issues.
No, yeah. But you all just mentioned, of course, the different ways that the Rams could come at you offensively. They do have a lot of different options, and they can come at you a lot of different ways. And to be honest, when they're rolling, they're like a well-oiled machine. So the key to stopping them is the head, of course, smacking Jared Goff in the mouth.
Yep.
We're going to have to get some pressure. We're going to have to get up there.
That's
It
Hardy.
doesn't even matter.
Pressure.
Told you, Hardy had a good pregame social.
Yep.
Yeah, it's simple. And he can,
We don't call it that
when
anymore.
he gets hot, he's hot. And then sometimes, I remember maybe I was watching him one time, he didn't complete a pass in the first quarter. So, and he looked really rattled. He can get those big eyes almost like, so you have to hit him and get him uncomfortable. It's hard for me to depend on the Patriots and the pass rush to win some games, but I don't know, to be honest. I'm leaning towards the Rams right now, but, we'll see. It's just going to be a tough game, but it'll be fun.
I think it's going to be a fun one too, Melvin. And, I mean, honestly, if we're watching Thursday Night Football, which is one of my questions for you guys, just kind of in general, what do you think of Thursday Night Football?
Hated it.
I kind of like the games on Mondays and Tuesdays, though. I found myself thinking, I'm like, is there a way that we just roll it? Like Wednesday's the only day you don't.
You
and
are
you just do
you
a couple
are
games a night.
Part of
right?
the problem.
Well, do we have time to do like any nonsense? Like
Sure.
this has actually got some traction today.
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
Like they started talking about. I guess Goodell has
upper level
given some thought to permanently adding like Tuesdays, Wednesdays to the equation.
Tuesday night game was kind of cool. That Wednesday night window, there's a window
But you know
there.
what I hate is they never take into consideration. Like, and I made this comment. Like, we were on the show, and I made the comment a couple of weeks ago that I got to admit I kind of liked that Wednesday at 3:40 game.
Right up until I started watching it.
No. Forget that. I'm just talking about the fact that there was a game on.
Okay.
And Eric, who is long, I'm telling you, it's like tiring.
It's during the news.
He loves the Monday night opener, the doubleheader.
Yeah.
And he thinks they should do that every week. Get rid of Thursday Night Football, have a doubleheader every Monday.
Oh, relax.
And
I was like, is he here?
And I always say, no. Like the week one doubleheader on Monday night is cool. I never watch the second game of the doubleheader because it doesn't start till 10 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm certainly not going to watch
Never.
for 16 weeks when I barely watch any of that game in week one. When
Never.
I'm jonesing for NFL football in week one, I don't even watch it then. So and then he jumps on me and goes, oh, you like the Wednesday? I go, no. I said I liked that night, that one day, because of the oddities of what was going on. I was going about my business. I did my Felger and Maz hit. I have Baltimore and Pittsburgh on as I'm doing Felger and Maz. In the middle of the day, I'm driving home, listening to a live NFL game. Just sort of the novelty of it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't want that every week.
Well, you
and
can't-
Hardy, you said it perfect. It was a train wreck of a game.
Yeah. And you can't have it every week because it starts at noon 40 on the West Coast on a Wednesday. They're not going to do it. They can't do it.
Noon 40. He's like.
Does that matter?
You are. You're special.
Well,
You're special.
Yeah.
Noon 40.
No, you're right. And even I'm like, hey, I kind of liked it. How long did I watch the? Maybe like 6 minutes. Of
Right,
it.
'cause the
Okay,
game
like
sucked.
I'm not sitting
And
there all day long.
I'll admit
but I
it.
kind of like, hey, this is great. 5 minutes. I'm like, it's football. It's
I'll
on air.
definitely admit that like Tuesday night, watch the game. But you know the other part of that?
I know what the other part
Why
is.
did I watch it?
Because it was a good game.
No, because it was involving a team that directly impacted the Patriots.
Well, I mean, a good
it
game
involved
for
Baltimore.
A game for us.
Yeah. Right.
Yes,
oh,
a
yes.
game that.
yes. If that game was Detroit and Chicago, wouldn't even have clicked it on.
You just
not for a second.
You kept the league and the networks and everybody else. They cannot leave themselves at the mercy of putting together a schedule months and months ahead of time and then hoping it's a good game. And instead you get something like our friend John McClain years ago said, wasn't just the worst Thursday night game ever, that Houston-Jacksonville game. It was one of the worst football games to ever be televised.
Yeah.
It's like if you hang your hat on one game and you're going to have now multiple windows during the week, you are going to have, dare I say, more crap games than not.
Yeah, and how much we hate it. We're like, all right, so this week the game's on Tuesday, then we're off till Saturday. You know, like it would just be like I like the routine of it all, and you have the off weeks like this week, but I wouldn't enjoy that part of it.
I don't like the idea of I don't like Thursday night football, and I know that's here to stay. You know, the ratings are good, they like it. You know, I just don't think it is a good product. I don't think it's good for the players. They all hate it.
I tell you what I would do, I'm not going over the top here. I would get rid of Thursday night. I would get rid of Sunday night. I would have football in the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock windows on Sunday, Monday night football, and that's it.
That's it.
That's all I want.
Stay in your lane.
I could be talked into that. I would rather have that than Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night.
Oh, God. Yeah. It's awful. Now they want to expand it. At some point, they haven't reached it yet, but they will reach the saturation point, that the league will reach the tipping point. And once you do that, it's very hard to scale back. It's very hard to do less because it's the who wants to be a millionaire syndrome. They love it. We're just going to give it to them every single night of the week. And you know what? People got like, now I'm sick of it, and it's gone. It's syndication only. It doesn't exist. Well, they maybe brought it back.
Yeah, and the Thursday nights, unless they could maybe, and I think there's a way to do it. If you schedule Thursday night, say starting in like week 4, week 5, and you ran it from like week 5 to week 12, and you gave all the participants in the Thursday night game a bye, then the Thursday night game, then you have 10 days off. You play the fall. Then I could be
nice break.
You know, it's a nice break. It's not every Thursday, but maybe it's 6 or 8 Thursdays in the middle of the season. Yeah. And I tell you one thing I do kind of like, the late in the season Saturday games.
I do too.
I kind of like those.
Yeah,
because
especially when it comes down to it.
I said that earlier
because
today.
Now you're dealing like, okay, now it's getting to playoff time. Yeah. There are implications with these games. I want as much as I can. I'm into it now. Because if I invest for another 4 or 5 weeks, that's all I got.
Saturday playoffs, you want to kick off at 9 p.m.? Great, I'm in.
Oh, I'm not even talking about the playoffs, but, you know, late in the year, they have the set. Like
Whatever,
the Patriots played one last year. Patriots played Buffalo last year on a Saturday.
That's right. So we're looking at these players out there now for the warm-ups, these football players for your New England Patriots.
That's right.
You know, they're professional footballers. And we are paying particular attention to.
Well, I'm looking for Damian Harris. Is he there? Because why every time do I pick a guy for DraftKings, Hardy? Is he just like
got the
not there?
We got the D-backs here.
$8,800 Paul spent on Damian Harris this week.
You got to pay.
Well, Deuce paid.
I feel like I got like one of those calls on my cell phone that you shouldn't answer, and I wired $8,800 and I'm never going to see it back.
Potential spam.
You should have gone for value this week. That's what Deuce and I did. Deuce spent $4,000 on Nick Folk.
Well,
I
look
think
at
that's
you and
going to
your
end
big
up being a
brain
great
over
pick.
there.
I have not seen Nick Folk either. Of course, we normally
Nick Folk, everybody.
We normally don't get shots of the kicker too much during our.
I caught a shot of Ernie Adams out there chatting with the refs.
Did you happen to see that, Hardy?
Little Ernie Adams behind the scenes.
The behind the scenes look at Ernie Adams.
I did not.
Patriots.com zone.
No, I will check it out.
It was excellent.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly during the week.
Yeah, he's a character, man. It's fun.
Oh
it's,
my God!
It's he's like that.
Do any of the questions get answered?
No.
Okay.
There'll be no answers, but that's part of his mystique.
Put on your deathbed.
Starting with,
and I'm saying this as one of the few people I actually, I actually own an Ernie Adams autograph from my fan days. I'm not an autograph guy, but I've got an Ernie Adams one just because the Patriots they know.
He's got a little of that in him.
My first question with Ernie Adams would be, what's the deal? What's going on?
It's funny. I mean, that was one of the funniest things for me, going into this job last year was, Ernie Adams is like this mysterious figure. And, like I had a chance to get an autograph. I'm like, oh my God, that'd be so cool. Like Ernie Adams, he's this guy behind the scenes. And
I think that could it
got
be?
Demon?
Could it be? I lost him. Was that him?
But then I go, then I'm in the locker room and I see Ernie Adams post practice, walking through after a workout, all sweaty. I mean, just the look on his face that you have, like you ran 100 miles. I mean, it's just totally different. You're not used to it. This is this guy of like mystique behind this. He knows what's going on. And then it's like, no, it's just a guy who just really worked out hard, walking right by me, like.
Oh, those are hilarious in the locker room when he comes from a workout. He walks through the locker room. He's all sweaty. He's got a towel around. He
gets after it. It's funny.
Yeah, but
he's a legend.
There's a couple of situations there. Him and Bill are interacting. Mostly, it looks like out on the practice field.
Yeah.
I think there's one before a game too.
Shorthand.
And they just talk,
but
they don't really complete sentences. And it's like
sharing a brain.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like and you could just tell by the tone, the way Ernie is saying it, what he means, and that's just really. Those guys,
Yep.
And then
Yep.
Bill's like,
Yep.
that's that.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, and he's and Bill is twirling the whistle. Yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah, they just complete the sentence.
I like that. Oh, okay, I'm watching.
But like, you remember the whole pink stripes?
Sure.
So at the very end, they ask him what it is, and he doesn't answer.
Oh, there you
go.
go.
Says proprietary information.
Yeah.
All right, so by the way, anybody else who wants to play DraftKings, obviously they're the official daily fantasy sports partner of the Patriots. And tonight during the game, you can play free. New customers play free for a share of over $250,000 with their first deposit. Download the app today, play free on DraftKings, leader in daily fantasy sports.
Jeez,
a couple more. Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wonder what the Patriots tight ends are costing today, because I can imagine like a Dalton Keene probably going to play a lot.
You get all three for $1,000.
I know. Talk about you're looking for a value pick.
Actually, only
maybe one of them Patriots tight ends.
Right?
Here's David Andrews, who gave me a hard time this week when he called into the program.
He gave you a hard time?
Gave me a hard time.
Did you say like something bad about hunting? Or?
He was very funny about it. He was on hold. This is one of our producers on the Sports Hub, T-Bone. One of his new things is to play drops during my headline, right during the sponsor information. It's generally something that happened. Matt Morrell does it to us all the time here. But
Keene's $300.
Wow.
Excuse me? What was that?
Keene is $300.
$300?
Just wanted to interrupt you.
Wow.
He's going to play.
Wow. But I stumbled because T-Bone played a drop while I was doing the sponsor information while he was on hold waiting to come on. And Beetle says, welcome in David Andrews from New England Patriots. David said, hey, Hardy, you okay there? Sounds like you're having trouble with your little commercial there, buddy. You all right?
Wow. David Andrews getting after you.
A little bit. I liked it.
Yeah,
I would like it too.
I did.
He's great.
All right, so we'll come back.
The store called. They're running out of you.
I had sex with your wife.
George is getting upset.
So we will take a few more calls here. I got a couple of questions for you guys, a couple of emails to get to, a lot to wrap up, including a six-pack to get to, all before 8 o'clock Eastern Time tonight on the Patriots Pregame Social, which is fueled by Duncan.
How do we inspire people to lead their healthiest lives? How do we bring everyone together so that healthcare finally works for all of us? We know how. We are the how. Optum. How well gets done.
Order ahead on the Duncan app to get running on game day. Whether you're a Patriots fan or a Duncan fan.
Yes.
DD Perks members get a $1 medium hot or iced coffee when you order from the app on Patriots game day.
My Caleb Sofa and Love Seat. With Bob's discount, you get both pieces for just $7.99.
$7.99? Are you joking?
Do I look like I'm joking?
Yes. You look like you're joking.
I'm serious.
Cool.
Get Bob's discount!
Please, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, it should fit. It should fit.
The take it back for something smaller with the CarMax 7-day money-back guarantee way. Whatever your way, that's the way car buying should be.
Wow! You gotta see the stats on that one! Our shot at a TD, 14%. Defender distance, decimals. My only out, zero gravity, 6 points. Next gen stats powered by AWS.
In New England, we are resilient. It takes hard work to earn respect. Sometimes it takes decades. And it always takes someone being on your side.
Johnny, you phonic.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
No, you were doing so well. You had been courteous and responded to courtesy.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
Patriots playing the Rams tonight in Los Angeles, and if you want to stay up late and watch, well, go ahead and hit up Dunkin', right? They have made mobile ordering so easy. They get you in, they get you out and on the go, so you just run out real quick, and you'll be feeling good to go for this game tonight. Just order through the Dunkin' app, pick up in store, or from the drive-thru for a contactless experience. America runs on Dunkin'. All right, a couple of calls here. Got the six-pack, a couple of questions, a couple of emails. A lot to get to. We go to Michael in Lincoln, Rhode Island. Awesome. Nope, it makes my life easier. I'm glad that happened. Sean in New Zealand. What's up, Sean?
Hey, lads. Thanks for taking my call. Just a quick question, if I may. So,
from London.
It's New Zealand.
Not quite, mate. From the colonies at the bottom of the world. Yeah, so if we win tonight, then obviously the narrative going forward is just one game at a time, road to the playoffs, maybe start getting a bit excited. But if we lose tonight, what do you think the narrative, or what would you like to see from the team going forward for the rest of the season?
Sean,
try and make the playoffs, or are we getting new players in? What do you reckon?
Sean, great question, and I had it kind of as an open-ended thing I wanted to get with these guys tonight. What does the win mean tonight for both the Rams and the Pats? And I think it means a lot more for one as opposed to the other.
Well, I mean, the Patriots are, they're hanging by a thread right now. So I think a loss basically ends the season. I mean, I think they'll always, go in and play AFC East teams competitive, even if they're, kind of out. We saw the Dolphins do that to them last year. But, that's the whole thing. I mean, talk about not wanting to all of a sudden just have everything kind of, well, that's it. I mean, that could happen tonight. If the Rams win, I think, the Patriots, the narrative's kind of like, all right, the playoffs are probably out of it, completely now. And, what do we look at these last few games, playing the young guys more? And I don't want to deal with that. I'd love to get a win tonight, have 10 days of, kind of a little bit of excitement, a little bit of like, hey, who knows, with 3 games left, Miami, and, go there next week. So I'm hopeful, but I think if the Patriots lose tonight, I think it's kind of over for this year.
Appreciate the call. Thanks, Sean. Let's go to Porter in Minnesota, most likely our last call of the social here. What's going on, Porter?
Minnesota?
Megasota? Minnesota.
Oh.
Yeah, Minnesota. Yes.
Minnesota.
Yeah. It's just like one of those little 6-ounce Cokes you can buy, a mini soda.
A soda. That's right. Pop.
Pop. They call it pop there.
Yeah,
Pop
that's right. We called it pop in Michigan.
Mini
too.
pop.
Yeah. Well, he kind of had the similar question to me. I was wondering, hypothetically, if we do beat the Rams, what chance you give the Patriots then to make the playoffs? And then I also was wondering, what game do you think this is the toughest game left on our schedule, or do you think Miami or Buffalo?
That's a good question. I mean, I think it's really going to depend on how the Rams play tonight, because I think the Rams are as not as inconsistent as the Patriots, but I think they are inconsistent, and I could see them, not playing great tonight, having just a kind of a subpar effort. They haven't really actually been as good at home. But if you get kind of a crappy Rams performance tonight, then I still think Buffalo's probably the biggest test. I mean, they're the division leader. They're the big dog, and
they have the best record of those.
The best
three
record.
teams.
They're playing great, and like my thing is just like I feel like the Dolphins, the Bills, they've earned the right to be the ones to have the chance to knock the Patriots out of it. The Rams, it's like you see them once every few years, but I'd rather see those games be the meaningful ones that kind of define the season, and not a Thursday night football game on a short rest against the NFC team.
Yeah, I think you can make an argument for any of the 3 teams being the toughest. I would say on paper, Miami is behind the other 2. But I think Miami has the venue that has been the most difficult for the Patriots to play in.
They'd be a problem. No question.
You could say the Rams are a better team than Miami, but Miami eviscerated the Rams when they played. Buffalo also beat the Rams in a game that they had a big lead, blew it, and then were lucky to win at the end. So I think you can make an argument for any of these three teams being the toughest test for the
especially with the
Patriots.
familiarity factor of the Dolphins and the Bills and seeing New, and
This
one's a little bit. You don't know. It's hard to pin down this.
You
game
can make
tonight.
an argument for this one short week. Back-to-back games in L.A. Tough. Not going to be easy.
What odds do you give the Patriots if they do win tonight? What are the odds they make the playoffs?
Yeah, we got an email to that.
They
same
have to win
effect.
them all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
they got to win them all.
They have to win them all.
What's your if they've got a
right now? I think
5% chance of making the playoffs right now. You have 10%. What do you have
Yeah.
that right now?
It would increase a little bit, but you have to wait and see what happens Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I like Football Outsiders, what they do, and you have like 529 and those other statistical companies.
Yeah,
but
I think 529 is like 14%, and yours is like 8%.
Football Outsiders was like 8%. It's tough. They got to win every game, and even if they win every game, you're still looking at the 7 seed. You're the bottom seed. You're going to Pittsburgh or Kansas City,
and you got to do some scoreboard watching.
I think they'd have a shot in Pittsburgh. Just saying.
Maybe.
Not saying, I'm just saying.
Broxy Bear in Scotland says, you mentioned
that's probably
this
for another show.
Yeah. This game was not a Super Bowl rematch, player-wise, sure. But coaches, that's what I'm looking forward to this game, how the coaches go head-to-head and try and outdo each other. Is it a decent coaching matchup between McVay and Belichick?
I think McVay's a pretty good coach.
He's a pretty good coach, too.
I think he does what he does. And, I mean, I think the book's out on it a little bit, but I still think they've been able to be successful. I think sometimes Belichick would break a team like that, and they just wouldn't ever get back on track. But I give the Rams credit this year that they've been able to right the ship a little bit. And, I think they've evolved, and, they've expanded their personnel a little bit. The guys that like Woods and getting cut back, those have been huge. And, I like that they – a few years ago you thought when I was living in L.A., it's like Todd Gurley, and I think they've realized that
they did
they've
a great
gotten
job
away from that.
They did a
knew.
great job with it. They used him. It was Todd Gurley. Okay, he ain't Todd Gurley anymore. Move on.
And now you got three backs.
You don't give him the Ezekiel Elliott contract. They gave him a good contract, but they easily moved on from it.
Yep.
It's good management.
Rob in Australia says, do we see more cover zero in this game with Goff? I think we can easily confuse him. Seems to be the puppet of Sean McVay and struggles with audibling out of plays.
Cover zero is not a confusing defense, though.
Yeah, you got to get there. It's just
that's
straight up.
We're coming at you.
Here we come.
We're not.
And I think if they get them on the
we're
right,
going to get to you.
Yeah, and I don't think we've seen as much of that this year as we have. But they're going to send Duggar. They'll send everybody. I think they'll pick their spots with that kind of stuff. I hope they're aggressive. Like if you're going to go down, go down being aggressive.
And you see how the game declares too. If they just come out and they try to get pressure with 4, and the Rams are giving Goff some time and they're moving the ball, you got to change.
Yeah,
you got to change.
Guys.
Before we get to the six-pack, let me ask you guys both to give me a scenario. In what scenario do we see Jared Stidham in the game tonight?
Just a total disaster from Cam, I think. Or they get in a hole and he just can't complete passes, and the offense is going nowhere. And second half, I think you maybe make the move.
Do we see Stidham in a game that the Patriots are still in and have a chance to win?
I don't think so.
Well, I don't think so either. But I would say
down 13, they haven't been able to move the ball.
Yeah, that's the thing.
How much time?
7.
Third quarter. With
Okay, so they still have a chance.
Early in the third.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't dismiss it, though.
I know it's tempting to say Stidham can throw the ball better than Cam can, and we got to throw the ball to get back, and he just doesn't have it clicking in the game today. And, maybe
that was our topic when I
do.
went on the Sports Hub, and we talked about it, and that's the thing is none of us knows how Bill Belichick feels about Stidham with relation to Newton. Like, down third. Okay, Bill, here's the situation. You're down 13, and you have to win. It's the middle of the third quarter. Who gives you a better chance of rallying through the air?
Yeah. Right.
I don't know what the answer is in Bill's mind. In my mind, it's Stidham.
Right. I think
but that's only because I've never seen Stidham. I have seen Newton, and I don't like it.
Right. And whatever they're seeing from Stidham up until this point has caused them to go with Cam more often than not. And the only time we really saw Stidham was in a game that was already won.
Yeah.
All right, let's get him in there. Let's see what he can do.
Throw a few passes.
All right. Six-pack time. Let's do it.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to the position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. Don't get it mixed yet. I came to win it, yeah, this is the Sunday six-pack.
I don't believe these
I missed the
numbers
sacks
from last week.
Yeah. I missed the sacks as well.
Did you play a little saxophone, Paul? Why don't you blow a little make-out music on your sax and lay it down on
I
a
beg
track?
your pardon.
Yeah.
Last week you had Giants Seattle. You took Seattle.
Oh, you actually have that. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
It's got the receipts.
All right,
Matt, I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
so I held on to it.
All right, so where are we on the season? How bad is it?
It's not that bad. On the season, Paul's in the lead, 34-21, followed by Mike, 32-23, followed by Hardy, 25-30.
There's so much. There's a lot of season left. I'm in fine shape. Not
Hardy,
that much.
I'm 70. What am I? How many games?
He's 33 games under 500 for the season.
In the PU picks for against the spread. I'm
With
33.
with the spread, we pick every game, Hardy, right? With the spread, he's 77, 110, and 5.
Yeah.
Every
So,
game.
don't
You
feel
imagine what RJ Bell would do with him?
Yeah. Bad.
Wow.
Bad.
I, on the other hand, I'm 101.
We don't need to hear about you. You're
I'm
doing fine.
101, 86, and 5.
Look at me.
I'm a sharp.
Did we have the Lions last week in our Sunday six-pack?
We did. No, not in the Sunday six-pack.
See, that's games that I pick and win are part of the Sunday six-pack. All right, go ahead. All right, what do we got?
Starting with the 6-6 Vikings at the 7-5 Buccaneers, Tampa -6.5.
I love rooting against Tampa Bay. I don't like this. I think the Bucs probably win this by, 8, maybe even 10. I'm still taking the Vikings. Give me something to root for here.
Yeah, I wish I could do that too, but I want to win, so I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Bucks.
All right.
I'm going to take Tampa, too. I just think that this is what they've done all year. They don't play well against good teams.
Yeah,
they generally play well against the teams they're better than.
All right, there's making up ground in one game right there. Good. What else?
Next, the 11-1 Kansas City Chiefs versus the 8-4 Miami Dolphins. Kansas City -7.5.
This is a good line. I like this. Kansas City is really, really good, obviously, at 11-1. They're not blowing teams out.
Not always, no. Not last week.
No. Be flow.
I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the hook.
The hoof.
Yeah, that's that half.
That half. I'm going to take the hook.
Just give me Kansas City. I think they'll win.
I'm going with you, Paul. I'm taking the fish.
Next, we have 8-4 Indianapolis Colts versus the 7-5 Las Vegas Raiders. Indy -2.5.
Big Patriots game there.
Yeah, I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the Raiders at home. I think their offense will cause Phillip Rivers to play catch up on the road. That's not good.
Yeah, I see it the same way. I will take the Raiders.
I think the Raiders are kind of done. I'm taking the Colts.
Moving on, the 11-1 Pittsburgh Steelers versus the 9-3 Buffalo Bills. Buffalo -2.5.
I don't want to be accused of just picking against you guys, so I will go first in this one. Steelers, I think that's probably a good thing that they lost.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to bounce back, and I think they're going to beat Buffalo handily. I will take the Steelers.
I'm going to take Buffalo, actually. I'm not overly impressed with Paul. I'm not impressed with Paul. I'm not impressed overly with the Steelers
You
lately.
can at least wait till I'm out of the room.
I'm not impressed with you. But I mean, your little line there about maybe the Patriots could beat the Steelers, I don't disagree with that. I think the Bills are playing well, and I'm going to pick Buffalo to win.
Yeah, I'm going to take Buffalo, too. I think their offense has played really well, and I think the Steelers are starting to get worn down a little bit by the fact that they can't run and that they're losing a lot of defensive stalwarts. I think Pittsburgh is very good.
I'm going to have such an amazing week.
Very
This
good.
is
I think
awesome.
Pittsburgh is very good, but I think they're in a little bit of a rut right now.
That's fine. Think whatever you want. I'm just
Well, there's a reason why they're underdogs in this game. You don't find that like a red flag? I do. Ask
Yeah.
RJ about that tomorrow.
Yeah, if something looks wrong, then go the opposite. Monday Night Football. What are we doing?
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
The 7-5 Baltimore Ravens versus the 9-3 Cleveland Browns. Baltimore -1.
Nah, never mind. It's too late.
Do you want to switch?
No, I don't.
Because don't you think that that's exactly what you just said? It looks wrong. Buffalo shouldn't be favored, but they are. So if it looks wrong, go the opposite.
No, I need the action.
That's what Mike and I did.
What means opposite?
All right, so Baltimore by 1 over Cleveland.
Wait, what does opposite mean?
If it looks wrong, like that Buffalo shouldn't be favored, that looks wrong. So go the opposite of that.
It's like in the movie Payback.
Go
If you don't understand it, get rid of it.
As we're talking nonsense, Matt's telling us,
I got
wrap
the
it up.
Ravens.
It's a minute and a half.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry. All right, Ravens, Browns. Browns are 1-point dogs.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens, too. I think the Ravens have that desperation, and I think Cleveland might feel pretty good about itself after that big win.
I think they do for good reason. I'm going to take the Browns.
And ending with the 6-6 Pats versus the 8-4 Rams, Lar -5.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one, but I am going to pick the Patriots to win somehow. They're going to find a way tonight to keep this season going and keep things interesting. I'm going to take Patriots 19-17.
Wow, that's a Hardy-esque total right there.
I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Patriots 24-20.
Okay, that's interesting because that's the first time you and Mike agreed on all the picks.
Oh.
I am going to take the Rams tonight. I think that they have just more offense. I do see the Patriots defense playing better, going back a couple of games now. The second half of that Houston game on, they've been much better. I just think the Rams have more offense to fall back on in a defensive struggle.
Right.
And I think that's enough to get by. I'm going to say 23-17.
Very good. For everybody
Rams.
involved with the Patriots pregame social fueled by Duncan, we thank you. We will be here after the game. Please join us late tonight. I think it's going to be a good one. We'll have a lot to talk about, so we'll talk to you then.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.